listening to the Otasso Outdoors Podcast.
Do. So good. Do.
Direct eye contact. It didn't work out.
Yeah. No direct.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Otasso Outdoors Podcast. I'm Caleb. I'm your host. I'm joined by my two Studley co-hosts. We have Reed Robinson.
Howdy.
Hunter Grishke. Ew. If you are tuning into the show for the first time, you're likely to find one of three segments. Segment number one is What You Got, Buddy? That is where we will all bring pre-prepared articles and or headlines in the general outdoor space, and we discuss them at length. They can be as short as 30 minutes or as long as 2 hours, depending on how many ADD rabbit trails we get down.
Many.
Segment number two.
Segment number two is our Spotlight series, where we search our network within the outdoors community and we go find the best people to have interviews and go deep into what they are all about within the hunting and outdoors community. We bring you guys along for the ride and we find out everything we can about them. Segment number three.
Segment number three is our head-to-head game show series, where we have a quiz master, ask a bunch of questions, answer them, see who knows more, and we crown a winner at the end.
Well, guys, you clicked on it. You know what it is. Back in the pod bunker for the second time, we have Hemi Neutron. Master anglers know his name. He is the Prince of Pike and the Bishop of Bass. He's the Duke. Oh, I can't say it.
Of Dookie?
The Duke of...
He's the Duke.
No, we're going there.
He's the Duke of DRT.
Let's
He's the swimbait slayer.
swimbait Antichrist.
He's the mega bass master. Bass Pro Shops wishes they could sponsor him.
Go off, King.
He's the chancellor of chirp. Guys, in the flesh, we have TJ Flagg
Whole lot
back
of gang.
in the house.
Whole lot of gang. Thank you for having me. Where's Ric Flair? Woo!
Dude, it's been a little bit under a year since we had you. Last time we were here, it was the deadline for tax season. I remember I got a call in the middle of the episode saying I had to go down to the CPA and write him a check for $15,000.
Is that what it was?
I've heard that.
He goes, it has 5 digits in it. I was like, oh, no.
Shook.
That
That
was
bad.
I was stressed. That was a rough night for
You'd
me.
be stressed. That's fair.
But anyway,
That's fair.
back in the pod bunker for round 2.
11 months later,
Dude, this is hype.
things done changed.
I was
Welcome
going to
back.
say, last time you were here, you had 0 big fish.
Basically none. Essentially,
You weren't even on the map yet.
essentially not.
I'm pretty sure we put you on the map.
Equal to nothing. Shout out to Tazo Outdoors. Basically funded my entire career.
No, that's not true, dude. You've been making a splash ever since you entered in.
Look at these puns going on right now.
Now that you guys can
Okay.
actually see this, man, look at
Yeah.
the stash. Peep the stash.
It is crisp.
They're lucky that they're lucky I got employed and they had to cut the mullet. Otherwise, it's just the absolute
They made you cut the mullet?
Weapon status.
Like,
yes,
they
and
made
no.
you cut your
Yes
mullet off
no.
and you can't call your
not-
coworker's girl.
Not gonna. Would you relax?
Okay.
Not. It is for certain applications of the job. For the boomers out there, a little frowned upon to have a little too much sauce in the back. You know what I mean? You got to keep it a little professional.
Understandable.
Which is fine. And it's just hair.
Just
Just
a-
grow it out,
you know,
grow back.
Little cocktail party back there instead
Yeah.
of a full-blown rager.
Yeah, bachelor's degree in the front, felon in the back. A little frowned upon, can't be doing both. So we went short, which is fine, and it's been good. Things are fine. Honestly, I caught bigger fish with a haircut.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, you wouldn't assume, but
You
yeah,
think there's something to that?
That was 11 months ago now. Yeah, we were in March because I had just got.
Whenever tax season is.
Yeah, well, depends on your fiscal year, or when your year end is. Mid-year budgets,
True.
having so much fun. But I had just got the first frenzy in March, and I had brought it in. Actually, Caleb took a picture of me with the Frenzy. I remember that pre-camera. Now we're just rolling on Reels and YouTube, and Tazo just going up and beyond next level stuff here. But yeah, so now we got, things changed in 11 months. That's for sure. As far as swim baits and where we're at in the game.
Where do we start?
Well, give us a little bit of backstory for those who, first of all, if you've not listened to the first 2 episodes with TJ Flagg, it was so good that we had to split it up into 2 and probably pee in the middle. And then
Pause this right now and go back. I believe it was like episode 20 or 21, 22, something like that. Go back and listen to that episode again.
part 2, 52 minutes in, by far the funniest part that has ever, like the funniest segment that has ever been on a Tasso Outdoors podcast.
What happened?
TJ Flagg part 2, Hemi Neutron, cut the holes in the pants, let the balls hang.
If I could create one reel,
We could go back in time and make one. We listened to that so many times over, and we're like, we should have been recording with cameras.
Him Allen, him Duncan, Himmy Butler, all
Hemi
the
Buffett? I'm here for it.
Himmy Buffett. Are you joking right now? Absolutely. No, that was like, so that when was that? March? Was that March?
It was somewhere back in that time.
Back in
But
March.
regardless, for those who don't know who TJ Flagg is or what he does, give us the quick backstory about what you got going on here and like what makes you splash in the outdoor
So
community.
we're in the fishing game, obviously everybody has like, you could say like a fishing story or has gone fishing, just like everybody plays basketball or everybody runs, whatever that may be. Obviously there's levels to everything that you do, I suppose. And now we're just I guess we've arrived at swim baits or actual big bait fishing. This isn't like, oh, I'm throwing a 6-inch bait. Buddy, that's not big. That's not big. Now we're running 17 inches and getting it on film and doing it in multiple countries and doing the master anglers and hurting
Cast to
people's
catch.
feelings. And that's what it's all about. Just, walking the walk and talking the talk.
So describe swim bait for us.
Yeah. So, well, that depends. Super general term, because some guys think 6 inches is huge. In some ways it is. I heard. But for the rest of
Wouldn't
us,
know.
we're rolling.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. So now we're running, I'm a big advocate, not like shameless plugging. I don't get like free stuff, but I do definitely get some benefits. Mega Bass rods and DRT baits for the most part, especially this year, we're throwing the DRT Ghost and DRT Frenzy. The last time we were talking about the last time I came on was more Frenzy stuff. And that the trout was brand new. The last time I was here, I got a little bit early. Shout out to DRT USA, even though I'm rent free. Took it up to Canada, broke the game, came back home, broke the game again, got it all on film, and been rent free ever since.
the fish that you were going after in Canada with the big bait, do you think they were more likely to hit because they're less used to guys actually fishing up there with big bait?
Dude, honestly, Canada is like, we're going to go down the list, but like Canada is just this like holy land of fun. If you're an outdoorsman, you can't not go to Canada. Not only are everyone up there just the kindest people you will ever meet, so hospitable, like just down for a good time. You know, they're just down. When you go up there, it's so remote that like, of course. And when I caught, master anglers up there, people were like, oh, you had to go to Canada, huh? Came back into the same thing in the US on pressured water. So it's more of like, it's the experience, you fly 1,800 miles just to get out. I mean, they call it Elon internet up there in big man land, which is like driving 12 hours, float plane ride out to the middle of nowhere. You're dying. If something goes wrong out there, you're done. You are done up there, dude. Nobody's come for you. I knew I was really fishing when all I had in my hand was a gas can and a satellite phone. No rod, no baits, nothing. I was like, okay, this is real adventure time. This is like actual fishing.
You've done more in that country than Trudeau has.
But woo!
More positive things.
True.
More positive. I got a video to show you guys. There's this. Have you ever seen the TikTok where it's like, "Are you an artist?" It's like, I don't know, kind of. And then it's this guy panning out, and it's this like John Deere tractor, and he's sitting there on his drone, and it pans out, and it's this massive middle finger that is like carved into the field, and it says F Trudeau. It is the funniest thing ever.
My boy Pat.
It's like, so you're an artist.
My boy Pat, who is my Canadian brother from another, who I went up there and visited. I met him through Instagram. We've probably talked for I don't even know how many years. Beautiful family, lives right on Clearwater Lake. Dude's an absolute nail gun. We went up. Buddy is going to love this. Hates Trudeau. I mean, I feel like that's like a universal thing up in Canada, though. I'm pretty sure everybody's not a big fan. But yeah, honestly,
just all the truckers like it.
Yeah. Dude, it was such an experience. Like, unfortunately, I can't go back this June. I usually go for my birthday, and we had mid-year budget, but then we have the actual budget this year at my work, which will go unnamed because when you're so rent-free, people want to call into your work when you can really just contact me at TJ Flagg with 2 G's on Instagram, and I will make time for you.
Let's just say his work logo is a Spartan head.
Let's go green.
It's Trojan.
But yeah, so otherwise, Canada, dude, so much fun. We had a riot.
So you went up to Pickerel Lake, was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. What?
Well, technically, Pat's neighbor owns, I don't even know what they call the term for it. The amount of land that people own.
Oh.
It's called title land. Title land. This guy, I mean, the stories that you heard up there, the people that have like circulated this property, one of the gentlemen that owned this place had 2 workers up there, supposedly. They went missing. Yeah, never were found because, if you just throw people out of a plane out in the bush, no one's coming. Dog. Big man stories, tunnel buddy stories. I mean, you're not, I mean, some of the lingo up there, absolute nail guns. I mean, real nail guns up there. It's such a time. If you get any chance to go to Manitoba in particular, I know Saskatchewan. Manitoba, shouts the Paw, shouts Grub Box, biggest grocery store chain in Western Canada. Pat's family owns it. All beauties. His dad, we're out in the boat. His dad flies in with a neighbor, lands on the water next to the boat, gets in our boat with his luggage. Unreal. Like, dude, it was just a movie. The whole thing was a movie. And everybody's catching master anglers, and the pike are thicker than me.
Have you ever thought about having somebody follow you to document all of this opposed to, because in my mind, after getting to know you for a bit,
yeah,
you are a main character. So I know you're posting major videos and reels and stuff of you with your GoPro just slaying these fish. But my question is, what kind of budget can we set up to have somebody just follow you with a camera and document everything you do?
Dude, I've actually super blessed one of the homies who I learned a ton from, and a lot of people are like, if you want to get better at something, no matter what it is, you go with someone who's better than you. Kobe Pellerito, he's like the Megabass media guy. Absolute stick. I think he had like a 38 pound bag of smallmouth. Please do the math. Best 5. We're talking 8s and 7s only.
Whoa.
Dude is a hammer. Buddy, I'm pulling for a little Florida weekend, do a little cheat trip in March. With him, and he's got like this top of the line camera. He's the real deal. Like has no business being this humble. Like easily either the top 1 or 2 dudes smallmouth wise in the state. We do way different stuff now, but I learned so much from him. So I get a lot hopefully get some documentation from the homie when the next time we go out. I have some plans for this year with the frenzy that I'm not going to go into because, you got to be, if you're not first, you're last. I got to be the first one to do it. Like same with the frenzy. So I'm going to be going with him and do a little bit. He's the real documentation guy. He's got the A1 photography, GoPro setups, just different angles of I'm doing mine, and my GoPro stuff is predominantly chest mount. So you can see my real cadence and what's actually happening. And his is like, a lot of the more popular ones are more like a third person
Yeah, the arms.
perspective.
And,
You get the whole scene
GoPro
versus
session.
just, yes,
Yeah.
versus just like my hands in the rod type of thing.
What do you think people like more?
Whoever's not crushing their dreams more, for sure. Because you would be shocked how many, it's just like it's the same, I can go down the list. It's called tip kissing. So, maybe in the bow hunting world, somebody's going to go out and buy like the brand new Matthews or the brand new Hoyt, and they're going to post a picture of that bow. No animal with it, no experience with it, no nothing. Billion likes. You post a mega with that bow, 100 likes, because you're hurting people's feelings. You're crushing their dreams. You're doing what they want to do. It's not, that's how life works in the outdoor.
Yeah,
That's real.
It blows that's what society.
That is
has come
1,000, and that goes the swimbait community. Habitual offenders. I can't even tell you how many single dads are in my fucking DM. Excuse me, my DMs. Give me that woo on that one. In my DMs, it's like, buddy, go be a dad or catch something, because otherwise, ride the pine and enjoy the show from the bleachers. Yeah, like
this is what we're here for,
dude. It's unreal, and I'm sure that goes right over into the bow hunting community, because there's some hammers in the community that shoot big deer on public land, and they do it the right way. Same with fishing. You do it on public land. You're doing it with hard baits, difficult baits. And the homies are just like, nah, you're crushing my dreams. You're hurting my feelings. I hate you. And it's like, buddy,
I would actually
if you could, you would.
the bow hunting community is actually pretty supportive.
Oh,
Like
wow.
when you
lucky
I think
you.
So
When you
bow
hunt the big
hunting,
deer-
hunting specifically, like if you
Vertical
take
bows.
if you take
Just bows.
Vertical bows.
if you take the
Vertical
hunting
bows.
community, like
compound bows. Yeah.
if you take like
I know. I even know the freaking crossbow. Yeah.
you take like the whitetail realm in general, you've got the freaking buds, you got the crossbow guys, you got all of these guys, and
Yes. Oh my god.
it is just a brawl.
Yeah. Oh,
but within the actual like bow hunting community, guys that are going out and maybe they're in saddles, maybe they're in stands, maybe they're on the ground, but
Yeah.
like you're going out with a compound bow, you're going out with a stick bow, you're going out with a long, like those guys, when they post big deer, we're all like, yes.
well, you guys
Big
are
deer
putting
are
in.
good.
You guys
Yeah.
recognize when people put in the time.
Yeah.
People in
Yeah.
the fishing industry, zero idea, and it's more of like, and I get that, because every time you go out fishing, people are like, "What'd you catch? How many did you catch, buddy?" I catch nothing all the time. Like majority of the time, I catch nothing. But when I do catch something, it's the biggest fish you ever seen in your life.
He's
So it's more-
he's the bow hunter of the
Yeah.
fishing
It's more.
community.
It's more of like
Yeah.
it's the quality over quantity. But in the bow hunting stuff, I can see where, because you're actually like
But he's
taking
like a trad bow guy. He's like, no, I'm actually it.
dude. That is hard.
He is him.
Amy Butler,
Amy Buffett.
little him and the East Side Boys. Yeah, that is like, that's real. But I just well, it also doesn't help that like, I'm a walk the walk and talk the talk kind of guy, and I can definitely understand where that rubs people the wrong way. But when you're doing it, you just got to empty the clip. I mean, there's no holding back. Like once you do it, it's like if you could, you would, and they would if they could.
So what are you doing? Because like pull a bait, tell a story.
Yeah.
Just
I
give it to
actually,
us.
I actually
I'm
took.
super interested.
Hunter's really fresh to all this. Like open up the bag.
I actually took the hooks off. This is the one that I brought in a year ago, brand
Yes. Yep.
new. Brand new.
No
And this-
mojo.
No mojo. This thing is turned up. And honestly, like you don't see a lot of, like I said, you don't catch a lot. But I will tell you this right now. The creatures that come for the big baits, you're going to be like,
Krakens.
what is even literally of the depths? What is even
the hell is even that?
That is literally like flying to Canada. This is real. And like,
How'd he do it?
The best part is,
He's so good.
I don't know what I'm doing, dude.
I don't know, man.
bro, first day fly in, we got 6 hours of fish time. I probably missed 3 master anglers. Shouts to DRT making the most mid hooks on the planet. DRT sharks are ass. Sorry. Do not buy those if you're fishing pike. So this BWA trout is actually what I've been fishing this year. I have a third one coming in. I got the new Phantom with the Phantom trout, which is basically transparent, but in the poop water that we fish for the most part, which is straight up chocolate milk, you gotta have bright colors. Can't be doing transparent. So shouts Danny, shouts Gunlight Custom, shouts Blanket for doing it for me. Appreciate it. It's coming in this week. This one's BWA trout, so you can actually hold it up to the light and see through it.
That's badass.
Yeah, so that one's new. I actually have some serious mojo on this top part. I took Mandy for a walk around Lake X, took my girl.
This is Mandy. Do you name your swim baits?
No.
Oh,
no,
your actual girlfriend.
Mandy's a real human. If you can you
This
believe?
is my girl, Amy.
Yeah, this is Dawn.
This is Jeannie.
This is my little girl Cinnamon over here. Yeah, so I actually missed, dude, because you don't get a lot of bites.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? Because whatever is biting that for the majority is a sizable, decent creature.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I actually missed one in Lake X on that color. Nobody's really got, this goes out to like Euro people, the Jap guys. They're really fishing bass. The Euro guys really do appreciate the pike stuff. But at this point it's follow the leader because who did it first?
Do you know anybody else that's catching more frenzy fishing than you?
No, but shouts to the Euro team that's following Dad.
He calls himself Dad.
Hey, if you can find somebody who did it before me, let me know. Scour Instagram. There are some guys there's two dudes in mind that I know have caught good pike on them. No board, so no measuring board and no video footage of the actual catch. So
that's a big deal.
That's there's some unwritten rules. And do I believe them? 100%. These kids definitely put in the time. I definitely believe, that they actually caught the fish on the bait. Definitely believe them. But yeah, you're their first or your last. And as far as I know, it's the biggest frenzy pike on the planet and only one that has master anglers in 2 different countries. Gang. So yeah, Canada was huge, but then came back to Lake X and I think it was September. Got that one on video. Did some ghost stuff, passed this knowledge on to the Canadian homies and my boy Pat, who's just a dog, just a nail gun. He picked up some of the baits. I know he'll probably, Pat, like in all he will probably beat my Canadian record just because he lives up there.
Well, yeah.
He lives up there and he has the access and he saw me do it and he knows what he's doing. We share a lot of information. And that, that's huge. Once you see somebody do it, then you're like, oh, that's real. Like that's a possibility. Yeah. And so that was definitely, some eye-opening stuff, especially even for me. Cause I was like, wow, this bait's brand new. They sent it to me early. I super appreciate the opportunity. One of the only people to capitalize on that opportunity. But hey, DRT, shouts your boy whenever, they're really bass guys though. They're not really doing toothy fish. Most guys in the US don't really know how to handle toothy fish, as in like how to even pick that up without, like when you lip a bass, you're sticking your hand in its mouth. Yep. You stick your hand in a pike or a muskie's mouth, see you in the hospital.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah. So you're not having that much fun. But yeah, depends on the tail, 16 to 18 inches. And for the most part, it's a quality over quantity type deal. Yeah. And just honestly, even in the last year, since the last time I saw you, learned so much on the water. I've just been having, a blast. So, don't catch a lot, but when you do catch something, it's so rewarding. It's probably like, you're practicing QDM and then you just one day God reaches down, taps you on the shoulder, says it's your time. Some idiot buck, 5-year-old, just ding-a-ling walks out and you get to smash him. And it's just like, that's pretty much what a frenzy fish is like.
What would you say one of the biggest things you've learned in the last year are?
That you can share.
Yeah.
Because last time you were on, you were talking like moon phases and magnetic pull of the earth.
Yeah, dude. And another person, that's the same person I learned a ton of that from, who is so much more knowledgeable than me, Kobe. Majority of the fishing community, and I'm assuming this is just like the hunting community, especially with people that are pulling up with 2-year-old deer and trying to get those. Yeah. Nobody has mental fortitude. So it's like, I need results now versus I know, you don't really know, but you believe that a giant You have to believe it.
Dang, 2.5-year-old deer is being generous. Talking like we're talking like six months to a year.
Buddy's pulling up with a spike. Yeah, just a
wait.
bag
Does
of
that have spots?
Don't
worry about it.
Yeah. Does that even have balls? Yeah. No. Yeah, dude. Yeah. And that's what the great thing is. And this is just like bow hunting. You're thankful for those guys. You're thankful for those. They're dumb. Please go ahead, ruin it for the rest of everybody because you're actually like taking life there. Obviously, and like people don't give fish the credit that they deserve. Like that fish I caught in Canada, bro, it's almost 30 pounds. Like that, it's not super long. 43 is not super long, but when the Canadian guys are like, that's the fattest thing I've ever seen. I like them thick. Not my ladies, but fish. Yeah, we like them. We want the thick. We want the thick ladies. Yeah, like you can be short and stocky. We like that. We don't want you long and sickly. That's not. Yeah, we don't want that.
Okay,
like, yeah, mental fortitude.
So for the people who have no reference, when you say size and length like that, what would you say average for a pike is in most places?
Like, oh geez, that's tough. Like average in Canada. And I get why people are like, oh, so you had to go to Canada. That's fair. There's less people there, so there's less fishing pressure. Probably the same like you see a bunch of giant Saskatchewan bucks. Sure. No, they've never seen a human or like a car. You know what I mean? Ever. You know what I mean? Like much, you know what I mean? Much less any human contact. Of course their neck is this big. So I get that. But like, you know, master angler in Michigan has gone down, which I hate because they're just lowering the standards for people because your feelings are getting hurt. It's like, dude, ask more of yourself. Yeah. Like it should be a good fish, minimum 38.
Inches or pounds?
I wish pounds. Oh my God. If I got a 38 pound pike, I would be even more of a tool than I already am now. Yeah, no, but like, you know, if you're catching the lake record where we were at was for a pike, which is heinous, was 55.
Oh my God.
And then we're talking like, these are like musky size pike.
55 inches?
55 inches. Dang. I can't even imagine how much that weighs. But you got to realize.
It's a freaking python.
And there's so many, especially in the US, like the Euro guys, which shouts to Euro guys one time only. Those guys appreciate pike fishing. The US guys are too squirrely to know how to handle them. So they're like, it's a junk fish. And it's like, buddy, they literally mate with muskie. That's how you get a tiger muskie who are asexual. They don't reproduce. Like you catch a tiger muskie, that fish will die alone. They can't have kids.
I have heard of people considering pike an invasive species. What are your thoughts on that?
Lack of education.
Let's go.
Yeah, that is
because
they
came from Europe.
That's a native.
No,
I'm aware of. Yeah, northern pike is just North America. Don't quote me on it, but yeah, no, they have huge, and they got giant pike in Europe though, big pike in Europe, and a lot of guys, you know, they get caught up in like, you ever been saltwater fishing? Throw a hot dog in the water, annihilated, giant, and not that they don't annihilate a big swim bait, but I will say, don't even get me started on the soy boys in the South and the West. If your water doesn't freeze, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to. Oh, it got down to 15 once, buddy. It was negative 20 here 2 weeks ago. Shut your mouth. Yeah, we are not doing that. No. No, yeah. Woo! Yeah, buddy. If your water does not freeze, or if you're on a, what do they call those? Those paddle boards?
A stand-up paddle board?
In December throwing wake baits, buddy, you're in third grade. This is the easiest thing I will, please message me. This is the easiest thing. Just stop playing right now. Well, mind you, Lake X is open right now. I had a picture from the neighbor, one of the neighbors. He sends me the river mouth because I love fishing that river mouth, dude. Because that's where the water is flowing, dude. It's so good.
So many fish.
We had that.
That's where you had that cast to catch.
Had to cast a catch there, but then remember the last episode we brought up that woman with, that absolute massive behemoth.
Yes,
that's what I mean. That's why fishing's awesome, because even a blind squirrel finds a nut once. You know what I mean? Like it. But then you get into some more technical things, and then you're like, oh, skill based. It's like compound bow versus a crossbow. Oh, there's a little more to it than So dude, it's just been so much fun this last year, and primarily focusing on big bait angling. it's just been such a blessing. So much fun to do, and just a lot of learning. And I got a lot of fun stuff coming up this year that, hopefully if we do another episode, we'll be talking about more crazy stories, because that, it's only been up since the last time I've been on.
At this point, how many frenzy fish have you caught?
I'll tell you, I've missed a bunch more. That's for sure. I should have a bunch more.
Because I know
than
of two.
I have. Yeah.
But you said I know two on this fish.
Two master anglers, probably 7.
Really?
Yeah. Probably, and missed at least, oh man, that first 6 hours of the Canada trip, the first day, mentally taxing, shook. I mean, I don't know how, I missed some megas the first day. And just like, you don't know how it was my first time in Canada, so I'd never, had seen anything like that. And it's kind of just like, you're walking, this is a giant glide bait. So obviously there's one hinge in the bait. It's kind of like, goes right to left. Just reeling it in, you're doing your cadence. And then all of a sudden it's like somebody throws a mini fridge next to the boat. And you're just like, what is that? What is that? Like, we just witnessed a predation. Like, another fish is trying to kill this thing. It's insane, dude. It's just, like when you're out sitting in the sand, you're witnessing nature. Whatever it may be, if you're seeing like somebody snort weed, somebody being protective of their land, or maybe you're seeing 2 bucks go at it, like, that's nature. That's a beautiful thing. Like, that's crazy to see.
I love how well versed he is, and just
Right.
like
Yeah,
he can go, like he can go from fishing parallel instantly to deer. He's speaking in analogies for us, because we're
gonna get into sports
got
analogies
it.
soon. Sports analogies soon. Bench warmers talking like starters, as in, don't interview anybody with a pulse on your podcast. Whole lot of gang. Good to know. Just so we're on there. Like, not just because you have an account on social media doesn't mean your opinion matters. Check the resume. Woo! Those things. Yeah, those things. Yeah. So, that's just the little taste of the fishing community right now. We're
So you're up to 7 successful frenzy fish, many ghost fish. Because
Dude,
I mean, do you just go out and play with ghost for fun at this point?
Dude, ghost is
easier?
like, as far as like difficulty levels, which is an abstract.
Because how long is the ghost?
Depends on the tail.
Right.
So
Typically.
we'll say 14, 15, maybe. I'm a variable tail guy. There is a V tail. So all those in there are variable tails. So you can face those up or down. I'm not going to go into my setups. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You guys got to catch me. So I like to face mine down. I'm a mode B guy. So there's different modes that you can fish this in. And then they just drop different pads, which adjust the angle of opening for the bait. I suppose I can open it up. Why not? So we got some hookless ones so everybody can play.
Because these are ghosts. These are
So
14
these are the
inches. And then
ghosts.
you have
Yeah.
Clash
Depend-
9s,
just
which are
a little
smaller
smaller.
dudes.
Yeah. So
for reference for you guys, like, we call these small. I mean, this is the kind of thing I would expect you'd catch a marlin on,
oh my God.
just for reference.
So those are all
This
open.
is small.
Those are all open joints, so you can see that there's nothing that's really restricting the joints, either of that. Well, actually, that back one does have a little pad on it, but this one that is called Ugon. That's the pattern. This is what I was using in Canada. You can see a bunch of teeth marks on there. And so they'd make, different lips, and then these pads, they adjust the opening or the angle, and that gives it a different action. So there's like a zillion, you buy a ghost or you buy a Clash 9. There's like 4 different lips, a bunch of different tails, a bunch of different ways to move the tails and place the lips. So you're getting in a bunch of different, tie offs. So it's like 20 baits in one. But yeah, the ghost is really, really versatile. As far as, the frenzy, they do make a lip for it. I think it's absolute AIDS. So I just fish it in mode B, which is essentially just a giant glide bait. So it's a really right to left cadence. That's how I fish mine. But yeah, I mean, you can see the fish are eating it. Like they're
smacking it.
It's got mojo.
Yeah, it's got some serious mojo. And
Wow.
mojo, that's another
Mojo
thing on the
talks.
list. We do bait pick forgiveness. So the fellas that just, let me just buy a bait and make a whole post dedicated to that.
It's not it. It's not it.
With no experience, goes back to the Hoyt or the Matthews. Check out what I bought, buddy. No one cares.
Would you say, since the last time we had you on, originally kind of the swim bait community was sleeping a little bit, where it was starting to kind of, you were the pilgrim, you were the pioneer of it?
No, there's some so these baits all come from Japan. Most of the guys are bass guys. As far as like pioneer in pike stuff in the US, absolutely. Nobody else is fishing pike or toothy fish in the United States. It's more of like Euro guys that do the pike. And
has that
stuff.
picked up steam though?
Not really, because guys just want to catch fish and they don't have the mental fortitude to just throw big.
So they don't have the patience to throw 17 inches for 5 hours and not catch a single thing.
No, people just aren't built that way. They have to catch something. So they'll throw so beneath the K9, which I actually have one. I recently purchased one for some weird stuff that I'm going to be doing this year. I'm not going to go into fishing wise. Yes, okay, it's called the Tiny Clash. So that is 6.6 inches. And guys have the gall to call that a swim bait. Swim bait is such a general term. That is just like technically a frenzy, which is around 17, can be 18 depending on the tail, is in the same category as a 6-inch bait. And guys do not recognize the difficulty level difference. They simply won't acknowledge because, I don't know, you're mid. I don't know. It's like a problem in the swim bait community right now. It's just like, that's the same with it's the same as last year. They just don't want to recognize difficulty levels, and it needs to be, there's a hierarchy. There's lane violations.
It's like whitetail doe versus bighorn.
Yes.
In the bow hunting community.
Yeah. It's like, obviously there's levels to this, and guys just don't want to admit it. It is the most like, buddy, sick. Why? I mean, you have how many TK fish? Dope. That is, I could catch a really small frenzy fish. A small frenzy fish has way more respect associated with it than a huge TK fish. Buddy, you're throwing a bait this big. I got something to eat a bait this big. Stop playing. Like there's levels to this, and buddy, and people are just like oblivious. They act oblivious. They know what it is. They never admit it, but there's levels to this.
They just don't have the patience to do it.
Mental fortitude. It's a habitual problem that's been here for years, and people just, I call it perpetuating mediocrity. They're just,
that's a great way.
They're just cool with, as long as you're not hurting my feeling, and crushing my dreams, I support that. But as soon as somebody posts, a frenzy cast to catch, I'm gonna leave that one alone because I don't want to act like I didn't even saw that. That's fine. That's totally cool. Just know it's there, and if you could, you would.
How do you maintain the mental fortitude?
Because I've done it. That's the big thing. As soon as you
get one on the hook, that's real drugs. Is what
correct. Seeing the results.
Thank you for bringing that one. That is real drugs. Yeah. You experience it, and then it clicks like, oh, this is possible. Like this is real. Like this is. I'm assuming the Canadian homies that I went with. As soon as we had another homie, shouts Jeff. As soon as he saw me pull this out, he was like, this kid is out of his mind. Like,
because he's probably used to seeing like jig baits, small baits,
spoons. Yeah. So this is like a foreign language, and buddy sees me pull this out and was just like, this guy is dumb. And then the first 6 hours hit, and he was like, oh, this kid's from another planet. Never mind. I'm just going to stay in my lane.
What did he say? What was
everybody at the camp? And oh gosh, shouts Barry. Oh my God. There are just absolute hammers up at this place. Just so much fun. Sickle Lake Lodge, Golden Eagle Lodge. Show out. If you're looking to go to a Canada trip, Rick, give me a free trip for all the views, buddy. You already know the vibes. So much fun. The accommodations were amazing. And the food, booze, jet boat. And you have to like get off a boat, hike, get onto another boat, hike, get onto another boat to get to this. These spots are like
super
people
remote.
have never been, but it's like, dude, if something goes wrong out there, that gets real serious. Like you got to be some dogs to get out of there. Like that's like we were out in the middle of the lake. I have a picture of this prop just absolutely torched. Every single prop, every little fin on it broken. We're out in the middle of the lake, ripping across the lake. Boom, boom. And I just look back at Pat and we look at the prop and it's just chunked. We still made it back. Thank God. Like made it back to
What are they hitting? The bottom? Like sandbars?
rocks. There's just rocks raining. Dude, it's terrifying. It's terrifying. Like it's actually just like, dude, like reefs. And like you would see some of the fish that come from these spots and you're just like, there is no way that is real. Like we had like some of my best met. I mean, it's so much fun. Just to see, to come back to the United States and also catch them here is like, that's when it's like, this is real. This is like actually.
When you're throwing swim baits, I don't know if we touched on this last time. Are you targeting fish? Are you like, can you see them in certain situations and you're trying to get them to take the bait? Or how often, like what's the percentage of casting blind and actually targeting?
High. So when we were talking about forward facing sonar and all that jazz, like it is fun, to be able to see little blips on your screen. When we're up in Canada, dude, this is bare bones. You're fishing visual cover. So you're like, oh, there's like a rock point here. You're fishing main lake or secondary points. So you can see from the topography of the land what comes out into the lake. So, I can see that there's a rock point here. I'm going to throw around the point and the fish will, kind of relate to certain spots in the lake more than others. Like obviously I'm not fishing 20 feet down.
See, this is a skill in like a live or die survival scenario. You watch the people on Alone and all these survival shows and stuff. These are the skills that can save your life of just knowing, just to be able to say, hey, off of this point where this rock goes, I know the topography here, I know the depth, I know there's going to be fish here as opposed to here. Because we've grown up, it's just like, hey, you just row out just past the drop off and drop. Yeah, there's the drop off. Let's drop a worm, and then you're sitting there's no fish near you.
Essentially, that's actually pretty close because there's level changes, so there's depth change. Fish will hang out on those drop offs because it's just a unique.
That's where I think
feature.
though the disconnect is everybody, and we talked a little bit with Joe Testa about this. Is I think the common misconception is that fish hang out along the bottom, where a lot of them hang out in the middle of the water table somewhere.
So depends on the season, depends on the year, depends on like what time of year it is. A lot of times in winter, the common belief is that, especially largemouth bass, which everybody targets, hanging out on the bottom. Very lethargic. The water is cold. That's why I don't fish bass. Because they're kind of mid. You go for the apex predators. They're crushing in cold water. That's why they're number one. They're eating all these fish. They're like, oh, I'm so cold, I don't want to move. Pike, that's year round. That's why when you see people ice fishing, they're setting tip ups. If there's ice on the water, they're eating. Now just imagine it's open water. They're eating. Go fish a pike. Go fish for pike. And everybody in like the East Coast, I get striper fish. If I was on the East Coast, I'd be fishing striper. Why would you fish for bass if there's striper or pike or muskie? Like, there's no reason. Why wouldn't you go catch a 40-some plus, who even knows how many pounds fish versus your average, maybe 3-pound bass that's like 18 inches? It's like, there's a huge bass, the whole largemouth bass trend, and that's all people care about. So obviously pike in the U.S. don't get a lot of love, that's totally fine. More for me and you. It's just like Will Ferrell. It's like Mom the Meatloaf. It's like, what idiot. More for me and you.
I do feel like as far as pike goes, in the U.S. at least, a lot of guys do it ice fishing and they spear them through the ice. And that's like that's the majority of the pike stuff I see in Michigan.
And I do, people do call pike lobster the North. That fish that I caught, that could be 15 years old. For one meal, sus. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, they're eating.
It's different than a deer. It's different. If you're not getting 90 pounds of meat, you're getting one meal. Yeah, one meal for 15 years doesn't make sense. But by all means, if we're fishing walleye, if we're fishing perch, kill them all. I'm gonna eat every single one.
But if we're talking about like predatory species, like if you eat a bass or like if you eat like a,
I caught you a delicious bass.
that is
Like
so
bass is
so
not.
that is so greasy, bro. Or like there's a certain term that is absolutely not appropriate for the air, but if you like catch and eat carp, woo!
Meat Eater did a whole episode about that. Like, just eat. What was that?
Enjoy frying that up in your double.
Pardon my plate.
So greasy.
Pardon my plate. They
So
eat carp
grease.
and like I think
No.
bowfin or something.
No,
That's gnarly. That's wrong.
Yeah.
So-
there's only one good place for carp, and that is in your garden as compost.
Yes.
But you don't like.
Yes.
You don't like bow fishing.
I don't. I'm
No.
not a huge fan of.
No bow fishing. No bow fishing.
Go.
Thank you. I didn't want to,
T just got to pee.
Can
Oh,
you?
okay.
Because I'm assuming you can pause and like edit. Let us ride
We're back.
back in the pod. Had
We-
to break the seal. My bad. Looking at Kobe's 8-pound smallmouth. Shouts Kobe. Absolute fucking ham. absolute hammer. Woo! Absolute hammer. That's what I'm
You got to
saying.
flip flop them.
That's what I'm saying though.
Fucking famer.
It's like, dude, but guys like don't have that humility. It's like, I go with him because he's better than me. I can learn from him. And people just don't want to admit that for some reason. It's like, dude, you're only going to get better by going, like, you're only going to get better at basketball from a coach.
Where do you
You're-
think that comes from? Where
From-
does that?
from
Where does
that-
that? Where does that human nature come from?
Oh, because everybody wants to be him, but not everybody's cut from that cloth. And that's just that. There's going to be winners and there's going to be losers, and guys, especially, I don't know how it is in the bow hunting community, but guys in the fishing industry, it's like, buddy, check the resume. Like if you're mid, you're mid. Just admit it. Just live in that. That's okay. You can do things to not be mid, but don't hate on the guys that are actually out there doing it. Like, again, we call it emptying the clip in Canada. If you could, you would. Let that wash. Let that marinate on your brain. If you could, you would. This isn't, big things coming soon. Nobody cares about your nail painting tutorial or your van tour, my guy. If you could, you would. Just respect what's going on. It's like Cam Haynes, perfect example. Guy's a hammer, right? Everybody, Caleb just nodded his head. He's a hammer.
Yep.
There are people out there that are probably like, no, he's not.
Well,
Buddy,
yeah.
check the resume. What do you do?
to run a marathon a day.
Yeah.
It's just
Which-
hey,
Why you carrying a rock up
Which
a
is
mountain?
true.
Yeah.
Which is true. It's fair. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what he's doing. Are the results there? Yes or no? Obvious. Respect it. You don't have to like it. Nobody cares if you like it or not. It's not about the likes. If you could, you would. And that just rattles people in the swim bait community. It's like, buddy, nobody cares if you're buying a $400 bait just to post a bait pic of it. You can't buy your way into the game.
So safe to say, within the swim bait community, it's tight. Like, there's not a whole lot of you guys out there.
Oh, dude, no, there's a bazillion people out there. We're going to get into that. We're talking about swim bait, universe, swim bait, underground. We call it the diaper party. So it's a bunch of guys just powwowing just each other off about stupid stuff that they do. It's more of like, okay, that awesome, shouts Caleb for the 1 million view video that Buddy got talking about wear your nicest stuff. It's become more of a fashion statement in the swim bait community. It's like, this is like my lifestyle thing. Buddy has 0 big fish. None. This isn't like, oh, look at me. This is like, I only take pictures when there's giant fish in my hand. This isn't, I'm taking a selfie in my new swim bait underground hoodie.
Thank goodness I've got a 130 in my Sitka.
There you go. There you go. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you can buy
Still
all
a little small.
you can buy
Still booner in the
you better
same
put that, you better stretch it out. Stretch it out.
He was
Stretch it
old.
out.
He was old. We shoot for age.
That's right. That dude, yes. And
5.5.
why is that not more common? Cutie.
We're changing the game. We're changing the game.
Changing the game.
We're changing the game. We hunt for age,
Push it.
not size.
Push that agenda. Like if you're lucky enough to find 5, 6, 7, You find a 7 on public land, people better be worshiping the ground that you walk on. That is unreal. And people are so butthurt. That's like finding
Here's
a
the
giant
thing,
fish
though.
on public land.
That 7-year-old on public land might only be 115 inches.
Because it's
Yeah.
gone down after however. But like,
Yeah.
that's insane. You know what I mean? But people like,
That no fuds have killed it.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. That's
150
what I'm saying.
That's a public land booner.
You know how that's exactly. You know how wily that deer must be to have survived all that gun
There's a
season
t-shirt
every
idea.
year. Yeah.
125
gosh.
inch deal, public land.
Wait,
booner.
can we
Yeah.
put a graphic of Caddyshack on there and do public land booner?
Yes. Have you met Caddyshack yet?
Have I met? Oh,
We pulled Caddyshack off of Forest Acres.
An
Prob-
absolute
you did-
stud.
We did.
Were
Yeah,
you playing? Were you playing around there?
Nope.
No, he got
did
hit.
not
Caddyshack
okay,
got
okay.
hit by
He
an
got deleted.
F-150.
Yeah, I pulled up, flipped the hazards on, and watched everybody and their like mother watched me load this deer up in the bed of my truck.
No.
And
I
this
mean,
is Caddyshack.
look at the character on him. He's built like a horse.
Oh, he's a beast.
How much did he weigh?
Uh,
How much did he weigh in the back of your truck, Reed?
well,
Peep
It was
the
squat.
nameplate. Peep the
Whoa.
nameplate.
it was squatting.
Stop it. Suburban Roadkill 2022, 2023. I hope everybody can see this.
14 and 7/8.
So this
Bodie got it right on the money.
So this is the type. So imagine if this was a fish. This type of fish is going to get so many likes because you're not hurting anyone's feelings. People are going to be like, oh my God, great fish, buddy. You post a frenzy cast a catch, you're going to get 10,000 views and 100 likes because you're crushing everybody's dreams. Shouts to Caddy. That's real. That's because that's my reality. That's real. Oh, you caught something on a soft bait? Oh, that's adorable. I caught something on a 17-inch hard bait. No one likes
Only
that.
one of us is hard, bro.
Only
one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Quite literally. Yeah. That is.
And you watching it,
dude,
you're
honestly,
also hard.
I'm just like, this is my dog. This is a very good representation of the swim bait community right here. This is like, cheers, Caddy. R.I.P. King. R.I.P. King.
He did a lot of damage.
Now, who's for F1? I hope it wasn't one of yours.
Oh, dude, it was a great story. So I was driving down Mount Hope, right by the corner of Mount Hope and Farn Lane there, right by the MSU FCU. No, it wasn't me.
Oh, thank Christ.
And and I look at the parking lot at the bank and I see this F-150, like the front quarter panel, grill, everything is just like torn up. And it's sitting there and I see a deer laying, you know, right where they do the turf management, that short, like golf green stuff.
Go green.
Yep. He's laying right there. And I'm like, oh, I was on the phone with Reed and I'm like, oh man, I think this lady just hit this deer. So I pull in the parking lot. She rolls down the window. I'm like, just hit that deer. Just big old crocodile tears. Poor lady. She is a wreck. Just like
Killed him. Killed him.
And I'm like, are you okay? She's like, yeah.
Fine.
I'm like,
Is she sad about her truck or is she sad about the deer?
I don't. I'm guessing. It
What
might
do
have
they
been-
call that
Not being
in-
a misogynist, but I'm guessing it's her husband's truck.
Well, of course. Of course.
And
What
I
do they
said-
call that, though? An act of God in the insurance?
Act of God, yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
call it act of God.
Comprehensive. So I'm just like, you have somebody coming? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Just wanted to make sure you were okay. When in reality, in my mind, I was like, backstraps. It's because
Fresh.
here's the thing. I thought it was a doe. So
How are you going to do Caddyshack?
so
like
I
that?
called-
Put some respect on his name.
So I call
Doing 'em
Reed
dirty.
and I'm like, hey, this lady just hit it. I want to go home. I want to wait until she leaves. I don't want to see me checking to see if she's okay and then loading up her
Roadkill.
roadkill into my truck like some freaking redneck in my sweater vest.
Who is this guy?
And so Reed goes back later and loads it up and he brings it. He's like, you want to see something cool? And he drops the tailgate. We got our two little nubs there. Just doing the Euro mount on that was a blast.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Dude, did you just like blast this off with a pressure washer?
And I just,
did you?
yeah, caped it out and boiled it. And then
We ate the backstraps.
Yeah, how good?
Amazing.
Fire. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were I actually took those backstraps and that deer, head cut off, carcass in the bed of my truck, backstraps flayed out to a party. Like I rolled up.
You guys.
I rolled up and I brought these backstraps and I'm like, hey guys, got a really nice deer, like fresh backstrap.
yeah.
And they're all like, amazing.
Throw it
So
on
they're
the
like sitting there
grill.
eating it, chill. Yeah, oh dude, like mowing down there.
I
This is
love
great.
this.
Lean over to my buddy Ox and I'm like, bro, go check the tailgate. He drops the tailgate and comes back in wide eyed because this thing is blood eagle filleted
Probably
open in the back.
smashed. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, yeah. And he goes walking back in like, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, roadkill."
Enjoy that.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
yeah.
It was-
introduction to venison.
Caveat.
Roadkill.
Very, very fresh. If you get it within like the
it's
first, if you
sashimi.
get it within
Well,
like
dude,
the first 5 to
yeah.
7 hours, if it depending on the time of year, you're good.
Yeah, of course.
Already tenderized. Come on,
Really?
baby.
And the other thing too is like, as long as the guts aren't blown out.
Right. Oh
Yeah,
my
'cause,
god.
like, you don't want to sit there. You don't want to sit there and
Dude.
open up the guts because like
that
that.
is smells. Guys,
No, like even internally,
that
like
is another level of scent. You hit a deer and the bro, you got
Oh, it's gnarly.
that is
Yeah.
that's foul.
Shout
That's-
out to COVID. I've never had that problem since.
No way.
dude,
Still,
your deer this year gut and it was rough.
you
I have, and I
Whoa.
can't smell it.
are you serious?
No, I've got only 40% of my smell back.
Dude, you're the second
You're
person. I
lucky.
went on a bachelor party, and this is true. Shouts to Eric Yost, buddy. We were in New Orleans. He was like, we're having like clams, this really fancy restaurant, like oysters. But he's like, yeah, I haven't been able to taste or smell anything in 2 years, and I was just like, it's not natural. What is going on? Like, what? He's like, dude, I. Like,
You tell me
actually-
what, yeah, this is all I'll say. You tell me what normal virus eliminates your taste and smell and makes like red meat taste like
never
chemicals.
heard. Never heard.
Get
Did
out
I
of
now,
town.
mind you, I had it at whatever. I've had it twice. The first time I was like, oh, whatever this is sucks. Mandy and I actually, I'm not going to name names. We got it together from someone and it was horrendous. Like I actually was like, oh, now I see why this is semi-serious. And then I got it the second time, like a year or two later, and was like, okay, this is much more, but dude, not to have your taste or smell, however many years that was, the pandemic was what, 4 years ago now? How was that real?
Yeah.
Did you do the
2020?
horse paste?
Huh?
Did you do the horse paste?
No.
Dude.
We are how do I want to put this? What do they call that? Homeopathic medicine?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Lavender, thieves.
some witches brew. That's what we were rocking on, some witchy stuff. Shouts Mandy for
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Everybody trashed Rogan for like, oh, he took horse medicine, blah, blah,
How
blah.
you
He
about to
didn't.
trash Joe?
He didn't take horse medicine. He took it like prescribed from the doctor.
Yeah, yeah.
I took horse medicine. I was like a pioneer in that. Like I got it really early
Oh,
on.
Reed, you big ketamine guy or what?
Reed went
No.
down to trap. Reed went.
Dude,
Reed went to
I'm starting
freaking.
to see stuff, man.
this is before TSC was locking up the ivermectin. I walked in.
TSC.
I walked in and I'm like, hey, I'm looking for ivermectin. I had COVID.
Tell
Mind
me you went to the Williamston one.
No, I went up to the one in Boyne City. Yeah, because I got COVID and I was like, well, my buddy got it too, and I was like, well, let's go quarantine together up the cabin. Like nothing better to do.
Oh my god, that sounds so much fun.
Oh, it was a riot.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and so it was fun for me because I walk into TSC with COVID, super spreading, woohoo, and then and
Let's go, Joel.
and this is like what, it busted out in March, April. This is May.
Yeah.
May I had it, and I walk in this before they lock it up. My soil sampling guy was like, "Hey, by the way, my cousin got it, and he took ivermectin. Go to TSC, get it. It'll help." I'm like, "Cool." Walk in, grab ivermectin, call my buddy's mom, who had she had her master's in nursing,
Okay.
and I read off the list of everything on the thing, and I'm like, "Hey, I think I'm supposed to take this much." It says like for a 1,200-pound horse, this should be a 200-pound dose, and she's like, "Yep, sounds right. Take it." I'm like, cool.
Reed's tripping absolute sack in a cottage.
Dude. So we did a test on our own. My buddy and I got COVID at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I took the ivermectin.
He
He did not.
Okay.
Yep. And I was back on my feet within 24 hours, and he
No.
was laid flat for a week. I was out running around in the cabin
Are you
like,
serious?
oh, dude, like put the boat in the water.
He was sending me videos of
Taste-
ripping
taste-
across the
Taste
lake.
and smell?
Oh, taste and smell back. Yeah, like well,
Stop.
so I felt my taste and smell go. Like we were sitting there eating, and all of a sudden I was like, something just shifted.
Oh.
And I went and grabbed a bottle of whiskey, and I took a swig.
Salt.
And I'm like, can't taste anything. Like that was my test. That was my no. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I understand. Like
Yeah.
I lost it,
Yeah.
but I got it back like a few days later. He was flat out for like the entire week. I'm out playing, like ripping across the lake in Dirty
Yeah.
Dirty. The Evinrudes. Actually, that was the day it like broke down in the middle of the lake, overheated, like dead calm. I'm like,
Is this a boat? Is this like your parents?
no,
That
this
boat?
is the like generational fishing boat that we have. 12
Oh,
foot
okay,
aluminum
okay,
fishing.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
with the
Don't you guys
15
have
horse
like
Evinrude.
some? I've seen Your dad added me on Facebook, so I was like,
Dude,
is
you got
this
beat
like a
up on Facebook?
Malibu or something?
No,
like,
it's an Axis.
oh, the thing's
Yeah,
the thing's
it's
sweet
like an
though.
off-brand of it.
No, yeah,
Yeah, it's
that
fun.
thing looks like it rips. You
Yeah,
know what
it's
I
a
mean?
ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, do a little surfing with the boys.
Oh my god, I wish I could do that.
Ivermectin, man. That's my 2 cents. It works.
Is that where you guys go? Is that where you guys
Won the Nobel
fish?
Peace Prize.
That's where we
Ivermectin did.
That's where we fished when we were kids.
Yeah.
I've got pictures of me with stringers full of perch and mega perch, smallmouth bass,
We gotta
walleye, sheep's head. Just as kids, couldn't catch one to save my life anymore.
The perch are
Really?
gone. Well, it was since the
Gobies,
was it gobies or the zebra mussels?
both
Dog,
both
the
zebra mussels and the
huge.
gobies came in and
Dude.
ate all the fish eggs.
Yeah.
dude, the gobies though, that is like smallmouth. Oh man.
But the gobies are largely gone now too, and the zebra mussel
Haven't
population.
caught a goby
seems
in
Where
a
is this? Charlevoix?
Yeah.
Lake Charlevoix?
Mhm.
There's fish there. They have trout tournaments, bass tournaments,
Dude,
walleye
yeah,
tournaments.
Yeah,
I caught
We-
a
The fish
I caught a
just
burbot last summer. Yeah,
Guys,
there's just no way to catch it without knowing where and technology and bait and all of that
it's a
stuff.
big
That's-
lake. When
yeah.
you go out in the big lakes, like when I go with Kobe, buddy's just a
massive lake.
mastermind. Like that's a freshwater ocean. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're blind casting out there. But mind you,
That's like I said, you 10
gotta
feet as the drop off, drop anchor, and then just a night crawler off the bottom.
Yes.
You're not going to do very.
yes. Well, and most of the Canadian stuff, or even on like Lake X, has I call it a parent cover. So like grass and weeds that comes and goes with the sun, obviously, that grows or dissipates with the amount of sunlight. So I prefer cover that is stationary. So like wood, for the most part, for years, unless super floods, because it's been super flooded. Dude, I went to Lake X like maybe last week. Water was up, had to have been 10 feet. So high, like so high. And things do change, but like that wood, if there's something that's there on a, consistent basis, fish are going to relate to that. And that's how I cheat, quote unquote, without electronics. And what's up?
Speaking of that, over on the Beaver Lodge.
Yeah.
Yep, tree went down there.
Bro,
Yeah, mega hard on, right?
You would think, and I have fished, there's a dead tree that's like halfway up and there's no limbs. And I fish each side of that. Dude, you would think, okay, there's probably a mega. Mind you, it does take a certain fish to go after a certain size bait.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm doing some weirder stuff this year. I've accomplished a lot of my goals in the last year. So now I'm going to start getting weird with it this year.
So, okay, like this is what people don't understand. Like, what are those goals? Like, you're out here doing stuff with big baits. People are like, okay.
Some are big bait goals. Others are species goals.
Okay. So like this last year, what were some of the things that you hit there?
So when
Like,
I got the frenzy early, I was like, all right, bet I'm going to catch a master angler or however many I can on this frenzy. Mind you, the only frenzy that was out at the time was magic trout, which is essentially rainbow trout. Then came keep cast. So keep cast are like extremely rare, very limited colors. Oh God, that's what I want to, my boy Jers, gosh, he says he's one of my best dogs. I talked to him. I met him on Instagram. He's part of my swim bait group, 140786. Shouts the boys. All weapons. Everybody in that group is an absolute weapon. He made a mistake by selling me this BWA trout and there's a very limited number of those made. So like no matter where you are in the world, there's only a certain amount made. Like I'm pretty sure, I'm very confident, we're talking like 99%. I'm definitely the only person in Michigan with 3 frenzies. Possibly 2, possibly only. I definitely had the first frenzy in Michigan because I got it before it hit the market. So this BWA trout is considered very rare. I missed.
How much money is sitting on the table in front of us right now?
Well, that depends on when we were sitting them at the table. So at one point, on like eBay, you could search a frenzy, you could see one for $1,800.
Good grief.
However, if you get in right when they come out,
Holy
like at retail, the cheapest you get them is $408. That's what I paid for both of mine. Well, actually, I paid $408 for that one because I got it early. They allowed me, shouts DRT USA, I'm rent free. They offered me the opportunity to purchase one at retail before they hit the market. So I paid $408. That one, I want to say I paid Jers $450 just because, you know, Buddy had different aspirations. He was going salt. And then I recently purchased the Phantom, which is a transparent rainbow trout color, much more detailed than the magic trout, but I got it repainted because oftentimes like in Lake X or river fed lakes, I call it poop soup. Other people call it chocolate milk. You're fishing extreme low visibility. So like within, 0 to 5 foot visibility. So you want the fish to be able to see it. So, again, shouts Danny for doing my paint job. It's kind of a cross between Pearl Jam and Scum. What is it? Scum Perch or something like that. It's basically white. So free tip, free game for all you champions out there. White works really well, no matter if you're in glass water.
Oh,
or white is, that's free game. White.
Is that why so many guys are successful with spoons? Just because they catch that reflection a little bit more?
So white maybe not reflect. There's so Megabass, they have Huo and Albino, which is their offshoots of white. They're just different. Everybody's white's different. It's kind of like everybody's pink's different. Like in the taxidermy game, like as far as clay goes, when you pigment something, everybody's pink or green is a little, when you think of green, you and I are probably not thinking of the same color green. You know what I mean? That's how it is in the fishing industry. So like up in Canada, the water, Pat calls it tea colored. So like think of like Lipton iced tea. There's a little brown hue to it. So I was using this Ugon, and Ugon, this color is a new Current Works color. It's pretty much that DRT makes a color called 256, which looks like a carp. This is like carp on steroids. Obviously, it's like a golden carp, if you will. So that was getting crushed up there, which is cool. Caught a couple master anglers on that. And so as far as goals go, I'm getting a little weird this year. I have some, different species. I can't like go into total detail.
Right, but you got some things that you want to go after.
Yeah, we're getting weird. Now that I've like accomplished, the frenzy's a huge hump to get over. I hope, everybody who buys a frenzy, well, everybody that can do a pull-up catches a frenzy fish. Woo! Yeah, because if you're talking out the side of your neck and you can't do a single pull-up, buddy, miss me with that because my sister's taking you. Just know that. My guy. And my favorite thing about the frenzy stuff is I will buy this bait. I will not, if you look on my baits, there are certain items on the bottom. So that is, and they're different on both of my frenzies. And once I get my third one back from the painter, that one will have a different setup or configuration, as we call them as well. So that makes the bait do different things.
You're talking weights.
We're talking weights. We're talking weight tape. We're talking football weights. They come with 3 different weights. Oftentimes guys will be semi-secretive, but when you're following the leader, go ahead and take the free game. Look whatever you want. I'm not hiding anything that I'm doing. My favorite is when you buy it, just take it right out of the box. It swims like literal AIDS, and they'll post a swim video of it with no fish, no mojo, no hook rash, and just post a swim video like, look what I got, buddy. No one cares. I can assure you that. If you don't have experience with said item, stop.
Even the pike are chirping you at that
point. And just like, oh my God, it's like a habitual, and that's one of my things on my list is bait pick forgiveness. I understand that people are doing this for different reasons. I respect that. That's fine. Do you? But just because you're doing things for different reasons, or you're a bait pick guy, or you have an Instagram account, or you have a YouTube channel, that doesn't mean you should speak on it. You have no experience on it. You have no fish with it. What is anybody learning from you? I can't even watch YouTube. Who has a bigger frenzy pike than me? Search. Scour the internet. I will wait. My Instagram handle is at TJ Flagg with 2 G's. let me know. No one can't. What's there to learn? But I don't. Everyone's like, TJ, why don't you get a YouTube channel? Those people don't deserve it. You're not going to put in the time. I'm not giving you this information for free. It's not happening. The bait pigs,
Build enough following though. It's more than free.
Oh, dude, yeah, and just being rent free in people's minds enough to where they'll either call into Clay and be like, "Oh, TJ's hurting my feelings. Oh, I'm gonna call into the Tazo Outdoor podcast." These guys aren't gonna save you. That's not. Call me. I got time. I will make time for you. That's not calling anything that I'm affiliated with, buddy. This isn't my van tour. Oh, something big on the horizon. Nobody cares about you painting your nails. This isn't like I need attention. Catch a fish where the water freezes, where it's actually difficult. Shouts to soy boys out west and the south. Or don't. Just know that there's levels to this and it needs to be known. Like, people are like, "Oh, I'm a big bait angler." Buddy, you're throwing a 6-inch bait. Stop it. Enough. That's like shooting a 2-year-old deer, and other guys are out here putting in the time with a trad bow, shooting 7-year-old deer that are booners. Clearly, there are levels to this that's not recognized in the swim bait community, and that's why it's more.
Why is it not recognized? Is it just people don't want to put in the work?
What do you think this whole generation is about? My feelings are hurt. That's real. Like, I'm gonna boo-hoo because that. Why do you think, dude? Half the record board, my records at Hazel High for track, they took the record boards down. Because you're hurting people's feelings. In the weight room, they took the record boards down.
Wow.
You're hurting people because it's not an aspiration like, oh, I need to drive. It's not a drive like, I want to be better. That's hurting my feelings. I'm sure, I can't believe it's not the same in the hunting community. That's the fishing community to a T. These are grown men with children. You need to have a license to have a kid these days.
Can you imagine if all of a sudden, you go to Ford Field, you go to Little Caesars Arena,
all the banners are down,
all the banners, all the
banners are down,
all the jerseys, all the numbers are down,
national titles,
because it's just like, oh, that really hurts my feelings.
Because I'll never be that.
Yeah,
because I'll never be that. I don't have the aspiration to like go out and better myself. That is like the swim bait community to a T. We just perpetuate mediocrity.
There's just too many people out there
Participation
looking.
It's
looking
all
at this
participation
guy.
trophies, dude.
Yeah.
They're all looking at him and they're just like, my pronouns are he, not him.
Because
I will never.
So mad.
I am not
so
him.
mad. I wish I could tell you guys how many single dads and unwashed SU members I have in my DMs. So mad. Just rent free living in their minds. So mad. Bro, if you could, you would. Then just go do it. If you don't like it, beat it.
This is
Go
the drive.
beat me.
I like that. If you
Go
could,
beat
you
me.
would.
If you could, you would. Pat, my boy Pat always said, empty the clip on him, T. Just unleash. Like, there's no, it's at the end of the day, someone has to lose. I'll tell you one thing right now, it's not gonna be me. But like, yeah, that's just how it is. And people don't have that, like, I don't know if that's from like playing sports in college. At CMU, if you didn't play sports, Harry Potter reference coming, we called you a muggle because you have no magic. I call them AJGs, which is average Joe's gym. You're mid. And people, that just drives people up a wall. Like, people can't internalize being average, which the majority of people are. It's like, okay,
that is society.
Do something to change it.
Society has trained us to be
it.
complacent and comfortable with the
So
situation. I mean, and that's everything. And I think social media has
How
done
many
that.
hours you put in the stand this year?
I probably sat 56 times.
That is absurd. Think about that. Who else? And there are people out there that are going to try to take that away from you just because I sat twice and didn't see anything.
Bummer.
Unfortunate for
That's
you.
real. That's real. And there are people out there that are like, oh, well, and make excuses.
Then
like,
you got guys like Hunter that also sat, 40 times?
I probably put in 150, 160 hours.
think about that.
And no deer.
No deer.
Same. I was only out maybe 15, 20 times.
But when you hit, so say you sit another 140 hours. After that 280 hours, buddy shoots like 180 class, just a monster. Do you know how valuable
Patience.
that mental fortitude that people just cannot wrap their brains around. That's big bait fishing.
Patience is not tried, it's rewarded.
Exactly. And people just they just don't have the sack for it. And it's just this habitual thing. There are dads, there are people with children. You need to have a license to procreate.
You mean children with children?
Quite literally. People like, buddy, listen, like go be a dad. Like if you have nothing on your resume, don't speak. Enjoy the show from the bleachers. You're there for a reason. That's real. Like, let that wash, let that internalize. If you have not done anything extraordinary in your chosen hobby career, sit back and let the big dogs eat.
This whole evening is like, I'm seeing it like a crock pot, and the crock pot is just like simmering, and just every once in a while, he just takes a chunk and just tosses something in. It makes a little splash. Just like, just simmer on that. Just simmer on
let
that.
it wash.
And then just like every couple minutes, he's throwing something in the crock pot.
Because it's just become, and I don't know how it is, obviously and most of the time, I'm not going to speak on stuff that I don't know about. I don't know how it is in the, hunting community.
I respect that.
These guys out here, it's like, if
you stay in your lane.
Let's talk about lane violations. These kids that can't do a single pull-up. I'm talking out the side of their necks. Unbelievable. It's like, if you haven't done anything impressive, who are you to speak? Why are you even having a podcast? Why are you having anyone with a pulse on your show? Why are you drawing magazines about it instead of actually catching fish? Woo. I'll wait. Unreal. It's just like, that goes for anybody. If you haven't done anything impressive, enjoy the show from the stands. That's for everything. Like, you're not going to go up to Kobe Bryant when you're playing at the YMCA acting like you're going to tell him something, right?
Or figure out how to get on the court.
Do whatever you need to do.
Put in the work.
Put in the work. Get in the gym. Put up the shots. They wasn't with us shooting in the gym. Put in your time. Put in your 140 hours. Put in your 50 sits. Then, okay, this is what I got. This is where my experience is at. Buddy, if your resume is literal AIDS, don't talk to me. Don't even look at me. I don't want to see you.
No direct eye.
Your opinion does not matter. You have done nothing impressive. Who are you to speak? And that is like, everybody with an account is like, oh, I have an opinion. Buddy, I can't even say put a gun in your mouth, but that's literally, it's like, buddy,
go pound sand, right?
Go kick rocks. Go kick rocks, buddy. Like, I don't understand where, this isn't like something that I've just made up. This is like humankind. Like, this is like throughout life. It's like, who are you even to speak or like even attempt to spread knowledge if you have nothing on your resume that has proven that?
Sometimes I feel like he thinks he lives in Missouri instead of Michigan. Because isn't Missouri the show me state?
Oh, I love that.
I think Missouri's
I don't know.
Am I moving there?
Missouri's known as the show me state, where it's like, don't talk about it, show me.
Newest mayor of Missouri, this guy.
Right after Andy Frisella.
Let's go Tigers. What do they got? Yeah, they're the Mizzou Tigers, right?
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
Yep.
They're in the MAC now. Maction, baby. Fire up chips, go Tigers. That's life.
Talk is cheap.
Talk it, bro. And it just seems like such an abstract thing in the fishing community where everybody wants to chirp and it's nobody.
Talk is cheap, but chirp is real.
Chirp is real. Talk fades, fish don't. That's real. Let that one
if
walk.
there's one thing we know about TJ chirps. But you're not going to chirp first.
This is the thing. I'll never chirp for it. If you take the time to chirp at me, you throw a rock, I promise you I'm throwing a bigger rock. That's bottom line. If you're going to take the time, I will make time for you.
They're throwing 6-inch rocks. You're throwing 17.
I didn't even have to say it. Let it wash.
Let my people speak for me.
I'm just, that's why I talk. If you're going to talk, that requires, like, actual any sort of credibility requires you to walk the walk. Because if you just talk, then you're in swimbait universe and you're an unwashed. It's just like, who even are you, my brother in Christ? Like, take a look in the mirror, my guy. Let's do some mirror. Let's do some mirror time. Because if you're going to chirp at me, you're going to see yourself different when you look in the mirror. I will take the time. And it's just like, don't call my uncle. Don't call Clay. Buddy's just laughing at you. Like, call me. You have something to say? I got time. By all means. My DMs are open. Dude, I got people straight up.
I just
I got
love
people.
the guys that are encouraging like it's
Oh.
the direct contact.
Oh my God!
instead of,
By
like-
all means, buddy. You can, my employers are laughing at you. Don't call. They don't know it's fishing.
You had
No.
people called Clay.
Oh my God! Shouts nose chain. People will call my uncle, who's not a blood relative of mine. Literally calling places where I have affiliation. Called you guys, buddy. These guys will not save you. It's about fishing. I am so rent free in your minds. It's unbelievable. Go be a dad. Go be a dad. Focus on your kids. You're mid at fishing. Let the young bucks work. That's the same with other older guys doing the pods, buddy. No one cares about your 60. You're closer to 60 than you are 30. You're not relating to us. Nobody cares about the fish you caught 20 years ago. That's what you did for me right now. Enough.
It's like the guy at the bar talking about
But the glory days.
glory
It's the
days.
glory days, guys. It's like, what have you done in the last 15 years? You guys fish in California. Stop it. Your water doesn't even freeze. I don't even want to hear it. It doesn't get below 30 there. Like, difficulty level. There needs to be some sort of, that's why we're doing this PSA right now. There needs to be accountability for difficulty level, and people just will do any. I mean, they would rather peel their nails off with a screwdriver than actually admit that they're mid. And it is just like, oh my God, dude. Like, look at your profile, buddy. You are a mid lord. Just stop it.
What can be done though to clarify that skill, the skill levels?
Bro, nothing, because the tip kissing in our community, it's like the plague or like AIDS. It's just an unstoppable force of just, oh, I'll do anything to get my views. Van tours, big things on the horizon. You fish wake baits year round, bro. You want to talk about difficulty levels right now? My God, you're built like a freaking stick. Stop playing. Oh my God. Do one pull up and come back to me. Just one. Go to the gym once.
Somebody's
Oh my
gonna post
God.
a video of doing pull-ups.
My God, please. I would pay you money to do what? I will pay you money out of my own check. I get paid monthly at my place of work. 'Cause I'm a supervisor. They gave me a supervisor position. Imagine being your boss. That is wild. So I get paid monthly.
Can you imagine the annual review?
Oh my God, dude,
buddy.
you are literal, buddy. You are literal ass.
Buddy, your performance is mid.
Yeah.
No, Teach posted a video today of a lady falling asleep standing up.
Relax, dude. You are a Snapchat friend. That is private. Bro, I was no. I looked at.
She wakes up and like.
Bro, I looked at our temp on call, so I hired this guy, legend. So, and I'm a supervisor, and the department chair shares. So, like, there's my office, and her office comes through my office. There's a door there, and I have these 3 big glass windows that looks out on like the
He's in a
bullpens.
fishbowl.
And you guys gotta come in sometime. It's fun.
Invite
It's
us.
fun.
I would love to
This
see
woman-
professional teach.
Oh, dude, it's crazy.
Hello,
It's
Mr.
like-
Roper.
How are you?
Oh, Mr. Roper,
Mr.
thank
Robinson.
you. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Would you like to make a donation to the school?
I am him.
Yeah. Hemi Neutron here on my license or on my name tag. Yeah, dude, I was concerned. I literally was like, I looked at the homie who will rename. I mean, this is a retired gentleman that was an engineer at General Motors.
That was a dude.
That was a woman who was standing, and
Praise God.
it was for I only caught the last like 5 seconds of that.
But you caught the part that is funniest.
Buddy,
when
she
wakes
was standing
up.
there. Standing. And I was to so long that I actually was like, do I need to go? This is a
Seasoned.
professor.
Oh.
This is a serious individual, And I was like, ma'am, like, are you, you saw her wake up. Thank God. I was
Dude, the wake up was so
I
funny.
was very-
Like, genuinely woke
to
up.
be honest with you, she is one of my least favorite people there just for her attitude alone. Like, if you're working for me, all I ask, get your stuff done, have the best attitude. You can't ask if somebody is trying their best. That is all you can ask of someone. So it's like, no matter what, at the end of the day, even if you're mid, try your best, have a good attitude. That's it. Like, that's it. That's all I ask.
She's the only one that ever got chirped on the Atasso Outdoors podcast.
Oh, dude, she's famous. Yeah, no, that's a shared. That's not just my view of things. I think the word that comes to my mind is loathe. as far as, how people feel about her on the floor, but that's okay. That's not, it's neither here or there. But yeah, if you're I just don't understand. It's the same. It's just, the hierarchy is just not respected. It's just, especially in the swim bait community, it's like,
I feel like it's opposite in bow hunting. I feel like the hierarchy
God.
is respected.
I think I'm going to start.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
The
start-
guys who are on the top of the food chain
Are actually
in
him?
bow hunting are
Yeah.
actually like we're talking.
Well, I mean,
We're talking Dudley. We're talking Levi Morgan. We're
Haynes.
talking
Who's the
Haynes.
crush
yeah.
guy? Tiffany and
Oh, Lee and Tiffany.
Lee.
All those guys are very well respected, but also
but you have like the showy guys and you have the real ones. You got
it's
the Cam Haynes, you got the Dudleys, you got the
who would the showy ones be?
I was going to say, yeah.
Bomars.
Do you think they're showy at this point, though?
I really do, because
Is it a fashion statement more than is a lifestyle? Because
I don't know.
The results are there.
Josh Bomar puts in a boatload of work.
Yeah.
I mean he does, but
does he put in a boatload of work and kill big deer, or is it
Oh,
just
yes.
Oh,
Giant.
and that's,
yeah, and
that's all
he
it is.
does.
Hey,
He does. He kills big deer. He
that's all
kills
it is.
way
Off,
big
Hey,
deer.
of his property too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
So
just
He grows
I think
200
he-
plus inch deer.
Sounds like I don't even know who you're talking about. Sounds like a dog.
yeah. I mean
I don't think
he's-
he's for show.
You don't think he is at all?
I don't think so.
That's like the people
That's
who buy
their
like
that's their personality. That's what they
Alright.
that's what they've leaned into.
they
I-
like
Gosh,
those are like the guys that do like your video. Honey, get your nicest stuff on. Sick of gear's got no stains on it. No, I'm not rubbing up against a
No
tree. No
stains.
blood. No nothing. Brand new.
If-
Spanking new. Straight from Cabela's. It's
you
like,
could
buddy.
zoom in and see all the burrs all over those that I
That's what
still
I'm
can't
saying.
pull off.
Still got the tags on them. You know what I mean? Like those are the type of people, and that's what I'm talking. And I've laid off. That's why I have bait pick forgiveness. It's like everybody's doing it for a different reason. Respect, have fun, not trying to But as soon as you step into the arena, dog, you're getting your dome chopped, and that's what it is.
That's probably the most respectful way to chirp. If you're going to, it's like if you want to look the look
Yes.
and not put the work in, then stay in your lane.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong if you want to buy the best bow, if you want to buy the best sight, you want to buy all the top of the line gear, the best targets, and shoot and have fun and things like that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But if
Agreed.
you start acting like someone that you're not and you don't have anything to show for it, that's when you're crossing the line. I think.
Definition
Yeah, you're
of
gonna
the
get chewed out.
swim bait community right there. Definition. It's
Is that
totally-
because it's such a new thing?
I don't even know. So then you get the boomers.
Because the amount of
West that'll
people-
be like, we've been swim baiting since you were born.
Yes,
it's
but
like
not-
sick, bro. like,
But yes, with 4-inch swim baits or
well,
smaller.
some of them are bigger, but then that gets into. So then we're gonna get into the soft bait versus hard bait debate. That's probably like
Right.
Are those both still swim baits? Swim bait
technically
is
such a
any
general,
any
general,
kind of
dude.
swim action.
swim
right?
bait. Well, yeah. So you can have. Yeah, so general, extreme, like the most ambiguous term you can have.
Do you
is-
think this needs a new word or a new category to be set on it?
I would love that because
Well, then coin it.
The guy,
What do you think
Seven-
it would be, though?
17-inch hard baits.
What would
some
you
guys?
make
So
it?
we call like
dong
there's-
baits?
So people are saying the giant bait game, but then you're gonna get the same guys that are fishing TKs. They're like, I'm a big bait angler. It's like, buddy, in what reality, in what realm are you? And then there's then that goes by state. It's kind of like deer, same thing. A northern deer is going to be way more stout than a Florida deer. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, of course, that's just how it is. So like bass out west or in the south, of course, the water doesn't freeze. It's nice year round. They're feeding 24/7. Right now, those bass are sitting on the bottom, shivering, being like, I'm not eating anything that comes. That's why you don't see giant bass come out of the north for the most part. But that's why at the same time, okay, so the bass aren't getting huge here. I'm going to fish for the stuff that is huge. I'm going to fish for the toothy fish. I'm going to fish for more predatory species. I'm going to fish for the stuff that they don't have out west. And that's how that goes. But like, yeah, I would love to have like actual giant, like they call it giant game. And I respect some of the Euro guys for doing that because they get the pike game. Most of the pike and like muskie and stuff, they just get hate because one, most guys don't know how to handle them, like actually grab the fish. Like they don't understand like how that even is.
They haven't even mastered the grip and grin.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I take my girlfriend out and homegirl, and she's caught some great fish with me. And it's just like, it's a lack of knowledge, which I'm not blaming. You have to go with somebody who's better than you. Go with somebody who's more knowledgeable. Learn. But most of the guys are so, I'm so high and mighty. And it's like, bro, let me check your resume real quick. What do you got going on there? Nothing. I just want to be tight, but I'm not. I just talk out of the side of my neck, but I'm not. And it's just like, dude, don't understand how, and you would be so shook at like the most mid content that gets so much love because you're not crushing the tip kisser's dreams when you're posted mid stuff. They don't view you as a threat. Soon as you do something extraordinary, they're like, F this kid.
It goes back to
Hate this guy.
the praising mediocrity.
It's perpetuating mediocrity, dude. And that's how it's going to be, which at first, it definitely was like, wow, this bothers me because people are just okay with being mid. And then I was like, wow, you're mid, Tej. You just need to not care about mid people because they've never been anything other than average Joes their entire life. So why would you care what a bunch of people that didn't ever do anything in the first place? It's like the Michael Jordan, The Last Dance. You guys may think I'm a prick because you've never won anything. They don't know what it takes. They don't know that kind of like mental fortitude or devotion to the game to like actually master your craft and become good because they've never done anything extraordinary. So they might view you as like, wow, this guy's a prick. It's like, no, I'm literally fulfilling your dreams and you get to watch me and you're just mad. And that's just how it is. So I wish the swimbait community was more result based rather than, oh, look what I bought, or, oh, I just got some new hoodie from this company. Let me post this. And
honestly, like the swimbait community is like it's like the designer community. It's all, I mean, it's so 100%. Much.
Look what I bought.
It's such a high percentage of it is for show.
Majority,
I mean, it's the Louis Vuitton of fishing, and some people in it just they want it, but they're gonna go buy the knockoff.
But now just imagine buying that really nice item and then actually doing something with it. It's such an abstract thought for the majority of the community to be like, oh, I just got a bait early from a company. I already hate that person. There's first strike. Second strike is, oh, he actually caught a master angler on it. I really hate this person. Oh no, he filmed it. So there's proof. It's not just a picture. There's a bump board. There's a cast to catch. There's a release photo. There's a thing in the net. There's all these steps. And people are just like, that's so many strikes against you. They're just like, F this kid. That's just like, you know what? He's covered every single base. I hate this person because he walks the walk and then talks the talk, but he earned it.
I'd say for our bow hunter guys out, the analogy I would give would be like, that would be like me doing a tutorial or talking about saddle hunting.
Have you ever saddle hunted?
I have never saddle hunted once.
Exactly.
That'd be like me going on purchasing a brand new tethered setup that's still in the box, and then talking about how saddle hunting is the way of the new hunter.
Bro,
but I've never put in the time.
Exactly what it is. And then you're the prick for exposing that. Like, I don't even know the amount of people that have just even attempted to chirp. Buddy, who even are you? What if, like, it would be one thing if this was coming from like a higher up. That's all. Like, this goes back to Kobe, somebody I really respect, but he puts in absurd amount of hours, absurd time on the water, has learned so many nuances to the game. Like, if he came to me and was like, you're mid, I'd be like, all right, what's mid about me? Because I need to take a look at myself. You know what I mean?
See, and that's what I respect.
And people cannot wrap their minds around that, or like can't admit. There's probably so many other, I wouldn't say, I don't know about frenzy guys. I'll wait till when that comes around. But like, people that are more experienced in certain facets of the game. Kobe's my example for smallmouth. If I'm going to go smallmouth fishing, I want to go with someone who's way better than me. And Buddy is just, that's a wealth of knowledge. You're only going to get better if you go with somebody who's better than you.
It can translate to anything,
And
whether
that
it's
goes into
be freaking whitewater
training
rafting,
for a job, anything. You
rock
need
climbing,
somebody who's done it. And
geocaching.
that is, oh my God. Yes. But like the guys, somehow, these are adult males that somehow get to vote, that pay taxes, that actually like somehow own a home or a trailer. Buddies are, and like you are allowed to have kids. What are you even teaching these things? Like, how is that even, like, you can't humble and I am arrogant, but it's also like, check the resume. That's why I am. I'm also like, oh, I know when people are better at me than certain things, I'm going to go learn from them and then push their stuff because I'm like, this guy taught me so much. He's the man.
Well,
like,
you have perspective.
Yes.
It's all about perspective.
And people
society
just don't.
lacks perspective.
They just don't. And I've like, my swim bait chat, the boys, like they've definitely, it's so nice to get like, 5 other guys that are doing semi the same things you are. They are big bait anglers. They're not really throwing the frenzies. A couple of them bought frenzies and said, nah, this is too much for me, which I totally respect. Cause to get a bass to eat that. And the guy who made it, Tamoya, who I've had some correspondence with, like he has like a 12-pound bass on the frenzy on video, cast to catch, measured, multiple over 10-pound fish in Japan on Lake Biwa. So impressive. Like, he's the one that made these baits. It's like, I respect you just because you made such a, high-tech cutting edge product that no one's ever seen. That's the only reason why I rep the bait or why I even fish the bait is because there's nothing else out there like it. It's definitely the frenzy, at least Ghost is probably second, the 2 hardest baits to fish, bar none. There's no other bait that I know of other than saltwater stuff. And we're not talking about dragging stuff behind the boat trolling. That doesn't count. We're not doing that. We're talking about casting baits, actual cast. We're not just dragging. I call it dragging. You're not dragging baits behind your boat. That's not real. That's not the same.
That is the most boring.
It's so silly. But like walleye guys
boring.
do that. It's efficient, but it's not the same. You're not feeling the take. You're not
it's boring.
You're not making the fish eat it yourself. It's just like the bait is just swimming, whatever. And you do catch fish that way, and I respect, do whatever you want to do.
If you're taking people out and you want to get fish and you want to give them fillets to eat, that's it's an efficient way to do it. But it's like
100%. Like we go walleye fishing, like in the bay. My uncle and my cousin, we go do that. We just go drink and go drag.
Four boards on each side.
Exactly. Oh, number 1's going off. Rip that. Oh, number 3's going off. Rip that. Your turn. Go rip it. It's like, okay, that's fun. I get that. But like when you get down to like, I pull out my big baits in front of my cousins and uncles and they're like, oh, they call me a city kid because they're from the boonies. So they're like, oh, look what city boys got. And then they see the fish I catch and they're like, oh.
Because that bait is the size of the walleye.
Exactly. So it's like, I get it, but I've also had to like dial back my BS because it's like, I get people are in it for different reasons, but also some of those people are doing like, they're in the same community I am, claiming certain things. And it's just like,
as long as, I'm like, I've got no problem. Like I said, as long as you stay in your lane.
Dog. And the whole thing is lane violators. Everybody's violating. Every single person.
Do you feel like a lot of that comes like in society today? There's the fake it till you make it mentality, and a lot of people have been successful with that. And
well, that's definitely true, 100%. But
a lot of people have made it because of that. So, do you think it's a lot of people looking at that and following suit?
So I will say another way of saying fake it till you make it is going back to tip kissing. It's like, I'm going to support a person who is affiliated with the right people. And if I just support them enough, then, maybe I'll catch a little bit of love and then I'll get some attention and instead of actually doing something yourself that's extraordinary, I'll just not come up for air off this kid and see, how that, maybe he'll give me some attention. It's all an attention game. And it's like, bro,
clout surfing.
Clout lords are real. That's a real thing, especially in the fishing community. And it's just like, dude, you can either be a clout lord or you can be a trendsetter. Why wouldn't you just throw all your chips in and just be him versus
Because everyone's scared of failure.
I can't tell you how many times, majority of the time, I'll come home, my girlfriend will be like, oh, what'd you catch? Nothing. I didn't even see a fish. I didn't do anything. I basically walked around. I went casting. I didn't go fishing. Totally fine. Then that one day you come home, hey, what'd you catch? Oh, just the fish your dad and grandpa will talk about for the next 50 years of your life. No big deal. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good luck with that. And like, it also helps if you're like, I don't know, kind of a bitch and don't talk the talk, but like,
You mean like succeed in the silence? Like,
if you
like
succeed,
thrive in the shadows?
kind of, but it's also like if people don't perceive you as a threat, you make it. If they perceive you as a threat, they're like, I don't like this person. They're like,
yeah,
oh,
usually the louder, the more flack you get, the more quiet you are, the less flack
correct.
you get.
And like that's where the
Bomars versus like the Michael Waddells or
oh my god,
the,
I love Juanito. I love Juanito.
Okay, so the biggest things I could compare it would be
hammers
Bomars to like Levi Morgan, like
Right.
stoic, quiet, thrive versus like what's up, guys?
Yeah.
Like Bone Collector versus Levi Morgan.
But and that's
But
definitely
everyone
like,
succeeds in their own way.
yes,
Yep.
who you are, and that depends on like what you like, and I totally get that. But at the end of the day, no matter what you like, and this is so universal to everything, you kill a big deer, you kill a booner, you catch a master angler on a super hard bait. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. You're gonna respect that. That's the bottom line. I don't care if you like it. It's not about the likes. It's about knowing that if you could, you would, but you can't. And that's just
And if you want, it's like
you have to put in the work. You can't buy your way in. And that is such an abstract thought for like 96% of the swim bait community. It's like, oh, I'm just going to buy the bait. I'm going to buy the bait. I'm going to post a video on it. And they know I have a frenzy.
That's where I don't necessarily agree with the if you could, you would statement, because that's like completely eliminating you from the game. It's more like you want this, then do the work.
Which the only reason why that's valuable is because they won't.
And then you fall into the if you could, you would category.
Correct.
I feel like with the hunting community in that aspect, you theoretically can buy that without
right
putting
with the,
the work in.
like a high fence thing
and
or
that's the
something like
unfortunate
that.
thing
Yeah,
with hunting.
yeah,
It's like you can buy that,
but I feel like the public land. So like, say, were you sitting on private land or like public land this year?
private land.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So let's put it this way: was it high fence?
No.
Okay, so here we go. So even if it's private land bucks, obviously they come from not private land for the most part, right? You would think if they're not a high fence, they're not trapped in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're free roam.
They're free roaming.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
free roaming. If like we were talking about earlier, if you shoot a mega on public land, that's worth more to people who know what it's about than some high fence deer that you paid $2,500 for to get the opportunity at.
Dang,
Yeah.
where's that deer?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. You
Or
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
or like
100%.
25,000.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like that nuance to the game. And I'm talking from buddy who has 0 bow kills. I'm not, you know what I mean? I don't, but like I can understand, oh, that's like going to fish a private game reserve or private water that's not like connected to a river, or like it's like an impounded lake that like has a fence around it where it's like only people that live there are allowed to fish, or it's stocked, something like that. They're not the same. Oh, I caught an 8-pounder out of a stocked pond. First of all, it's a pond. Second of all, it's private. Like you know what I mean? That nuance is so escapes not only hunters, but anglers alike, that it's like, there are levels of difficulty to it. Like, you guys are fighting off a bunch of goobers every year. I'm sure you guys have sat and been like, seen a deer forever away, and you're like, that guy is going to get clapped in gun season. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to lose. Every year you see something like that. And it's just like, okay, so if you get the opportunity and you take a giant with a bow on public land, you know how much harder that is than going to pay money to go shoot a high fence deer? But that, obviously there's a distinction there. People will not recognize that. they don't want, that's a respect level that people will not give you because, oh, well, I just spent $3,000 and I shot this massive Texas buck. It's like, oh, I just sat for 56 hours and I just shot a booner on public land.
They have social.
You know what I mean? There's that's the bane of my existence.
Social blinders.
Yes, that's exactly social blinders.
It's like everybody in the comments of that video that I posted.
Which one?
The one with the Sitka. Brutal.
I haven't even read it. Are there people just going in on you or what? Dude, that video is so money. I don't care what anybody says. That's hilarious.
I don't know
so
what.
funny.
Yeah, like I don't know what.
Got 1 million views for a reason. Please read me, son, because that is like if you don't understand.
We want to cruise.
How
we want to cruise the comments a little bit here,
dude. Oh my gosh, I wish I could cruise my DMs.
Okay, so there's one. So there's. Tell me. The best comment was this guy said, "Jesus, man, chill. My wife is on this app."
Yes,
that was a good.
My guy gets it. Gets it.
There was really only one negative comment.
Give it to me.
And this guy,
I just don't know where you could draw negativity.
I don't know.
Agree.
Just like I don't have that
jealousy.
Yeah.
But he said,
except for me,
he's way at the bottom somewhere. I've got hundreds and hundreds of comments.
Why would anybody like that comment? That video is hilarious. And it's obviously in great fun.
Well, yes, and that's it. I think it's lacking perspective. Like the people who get it.
Oh, that was so nice of you. You said perspective. Let's just call it intelligence, okay? Lacking intelligence, because that's what it really is at the end of the day.
I try to be.
Tell me, yeah.
I try to be as generous. I try to be as generous as possible.
Such a nice guy.
Sorry, I'm sorry to the guy who posted this comment. Yours is lost amidst the hundreds of other comments.
Positive ones.
Yes, bring him to light.
All the hundreds of positive comments here.
Dude, that video is hilarious.
I hate to do this, but I'm going pee. So you guys filter comments.
Oh, you do. Oh, do you think?
Wait, we can.
Okay. So here it is.
Give it to me.
So, guy said, tool bags like this kid that ruin it for regular hunters. He said embarrassing.
Just missed.
And so in my
entire thing.
So in my mindset, I want to be as professional as possible.
You did not respond.
I did.
Oh my God, what'd you say?
And I said, we're all ears on how this 20-second video ruined your hunting experience.
What did he say back? I would love to know.
He never responded.
Of course he did it.
He didn't respond to that.
Of course he did it.
But then all the other million people that liked that video,
literally a million,
started chiming in.
Of course, baptizing his ass. Dumber than rocks, buddy.
So next, okay. So for preface, I want you to see the guy who commented that.
That's all you need to say. That's all I need. A
little fudulent.
That's all I need.
So for reference, this guy is all blaze orange.
Blaze orange with his old gray holding a 2-year-old deer.
A 2-year-old,
prouder than
70-inch deer. His grandpa's holding a deer about the size of Caddyshack.
Unreal.
So he gets absolutely baptized. So these guys start chirping in on him.
Oh, I bet they baptized.
This guy says, regular hunters. You mean hunters like you that shoot tiny little bucks?
Yes, bro.
And this guy says tool bags like you ruin the entire internet experience.
Bro, yes.
Okay.
You're just trying to have fun. Like, that's a funny...
This guy says, this guy gives big, if it's brown, it's down vibes. And then he comes in and he starts chirping back.
Oh, please, because he's got time.
So it's a thread. He keeps going back, which I'm all about boosting the algorithm.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. You love that. That's good for you. So
he goes, awesome. 133-inch 3-year-old with a rifle in your profile, buddy. Pot calling the kettle black. I shoot giants, bud. And the guy says, laugh my ass off. Your profile picture states otherwise. And then he comes back and says, keep shooting babies, buddy. I pass a 3-year-old in your pick every day of the week. Learn something today. And the guy comes back and says, laugh my ass off. Your profile picture states otherwise.
That's all you need to say. That's all.
Keep going and going. And then the ladies chimed in, and it got pretty bad.
Oh, I love that.
Unfortunately,
I live for, like, I know it's horrible, but that's like,
oh,
dude, I live for confrontation because I'm all about,
you're a rare breed.
Dude, I feed off that. That's why I never cast the first stone.
We've had a lot of confrontation in the comments.
On
some of our stuff.
On such a fun video,
especially the reels about like the tag reform and like Michigan not having big bucks. A lot of confrontation. I don't really like it.
Well, guess what? We're gonna do something about it. So here's the Michigan $1 steak,
dude. That would be sick. Or just QDM and it's a hole.
We're gonna do it.
There's a dude. Actually, so funny. My buddy Jay getting married 4th of July weekend. So hype. Actually, I met Kobe. I almost want to call him a mentor. He's really just like, man, he's awesome. I met him through Jay, and there is a sign on the, like, going up to their cottage. They live on the same cottage. They're neighbors on this lake. It's called Lake McGilvery. There is this mega sign. It's an old Miller Lite sign, and it says, "Let them go, let them grow," just like fish.
Yep.
And there is a 1-year-old deer, 2-year-old deer, 3-year-old deer,
The big
4-year-old
yellow sign?
deer. It's actually orange.
Oh, okay.
4-year-old, 5-year-old deer, and it shows the progression.
It's crazy.
Why? Like, and that's the same thing going with fishing and like big bait fishing, because everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, would you get anything?" And people just can't say no because they want to shoot Caddyshack. They want to be like, "Oh, I whacked something."
They want to get something.
They want to
Yeah.
get something.
Yeah.
It's like, buddy, just imagine. I know it's so hard to wrap your little mind around. Just imagine if you pass on this deer, right? God touches you on your shoulder a couple years later. Absolute behemoth pulls up on your land and you get to wax him. And now you got just a giant versus, you know what I mean?
Guys
Versus
don't wanna
the
wait.
little spike. They don't want to
They don't
wait.
wanna
And
wait.
it's just like, dude, what a criminal activity just to take just something so small. And it's like, that's like killing a small fish. It's like, buddy, give it a couple years. That thing could be a 7-pounder if you just leave it alone. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Like, just
Yep.
let it go and do its thing. And
You know what the problem is? Instant gratification.
that's the exact same
People are
fishing.
constant in today's society. They're constantly seeking the approval of others, and they want that.
Participation trophies.
They want that instant results. I mean, Amazon killed it for us because what? You go on there, you can literally find anything that you want at a click of a
Instantaneously.
button.
Yeah.
Most places, depending on where you're at, you can get it the next morning. The amount of times I've sat in the living room at 8 p.m. and
Yes.
click purchase on something, and then
Next day.
somebody shows up at 5 a.m. with
Stop.
it, blows my mind.
That's wild.
That is
instant
our
gratification is so true.
that is our society. Do you remember as a kid, pre-Christmas, you'd have the toy catalog,
Yes.
and
Yes.
you could,
Yes.
and you would
Circle
circle
stuff.
it,
For your parents.
and it had, yes, you'd give it to your parents. They would go call the company,
Yes.
order it,
Let me get one of those.
and it would take 3 weeks to a month to show up.
Yep.
The
and now-
anticipation is what,
And
you know.
nobody even bothers to walk into Walmart or any retail store to buy something anymore because they know that at a click of a button they can have something exactly what they want the next morning. And that translates to every aspect of their life, whether it's fishing, whether it's hunting, whether it's projects, whether it's, I mean, it can be anything. Instant gratification is destroying our society. Nobody wants to put in that work. Everybody wants instant results.
That's the same vein as
That's my soapbox.
the attention. Stand on it, King. That is elevate this man. Elevate this man. Get him on the tallest box we can. That is like,
Get up,
it's
stay
the
up,
same
young.
thing with like, that's the same exact vein is that like, I mean, not to go into sports, big Tom Brady hater, because Buddy has this attention issue that just has to be just constant attention. And it's like,
Talent recognizes talent.
there's that. Also, cheaters recognize cheaters. So also playing in the, you know, the special ed division. So there's that for the whole career. But yeah, it's just this attention thing. And it's like, I get it. That's great. But you have to do something extraordinary to get that, if that's your thing. Because for me, it's not about the attention. It's about respect. Like, I'm doing stuff that's difficult to do that you can't just buy. You have to put
Yep.
in the time. You have, like, of course, same thing with that giant, that lady catching that giant.
Right.
A blind squirrel will find a nut every once in a while, right? You know, that's real. That's just reality. That's fishing. That's why fishing is beautiful, because you can go down there and get lucky. You know, luck. There's some luck involved for sure, but then there's a lot of variables that you put together like a math equation to make your odds go up. We either got giant fish or, hey, big things on the horizon. Let me give you a tour of my van, or let me just pick my ass on this video for 1 billion views. It's like, buddy, seriously, give it a rest. Like that's like, that goes across all social media, of course, not just fishing.
Question.
Hmm.
Do you feel like in some situations, the chirping / criticism deplete the respect a little bit? Or is this the only platform that
That's
you
a
go?
personal thing, I think. I mean, that depends on how you view how others view you.
Perspective.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you enjoy it when people are like pissed at you.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Feed me. I got time.
That's rare.
Like,
I got
you're
time.
having-
Yeah,
Oh,
I
100%.
would
That's
say
why
that's
I
pretty
feel
rare.
I feel like that's why people get so rattled about me, is because it's like, cast the first stone. I wish you would. I wish you would. Please. Because then you get kids that can't handle it. And what's your favorite knot, my guy? Yeah, that's
Can we hire you? Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
If we
this is the
keep him
thing.
on we keep him on
just keep-
retainer.
This is the thing. I don't
Like,
know
no,
enough.
TJ just controls our like comments.
no,
I don't-
like we create a spoof account for you to just go in and chirp people.
This is the thing, though. I'm not going to chirp about stuff that I don't know anything about. So, like, Buddy's
I
talking
respect
about
that.
bow hunting, and like this idiot that's chirping out his hilarious video. Like, first of all, I would just make your stuff private immediately, because if it's public, I'm going to eat you alive. Like, whatever you have on there,
Sure,
your
private.
hands rated E for everyone, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, your kid, anybody can get it. You inbred idiot. I am coming for you. If you chirp at me first, you will get baptized. Like, I have time. I will make time for you. But like, I'm not going to cast the first stone. Don't make that mistake. You throw a rock, I'm going to throw the finishing rock. You're going to look at yourself different when you look in the mirror. Like, that's how it is. But like, I'm not going to talk about bow hunting. I haven't shot anything. Who am I? You know what I mean? Who am I? But other people don't have that wherewithal to be like, who am I? I don't even have a frenzy. Why am I even speaking on frenzies? I don't even throw DRT. I should be in the bleachers where I belong. That never has crossed any of those unwashed minds. Like, not one time. It's just like, I'm just going to speak on anything I want. Buddy, just because you have an account doesn't mean your opinion matters. Shut your mouth. Enjoy the show. Like,
I wish there was this scene in Lord of the Rings where like somebody's up on the wall of like Helm's Deep with a slingshot and they're shooting down, and then all of a sudden the catapult flings
that's
the flaming boulder.
1,000% what goes down.
That's what I'm seeing.
I'm just gonna little like ding this little. Oh, I'm just gonna say something stupid, and it's like, buddy, think twice, think 4 times, think 5 times before. I mean, if you're really ready to bark up that tree, by all means, like, anytime, I'm ready anytime. And it's just like, they eventually learned. I got kicked out of so many swim bait. It's gonna take an army. I got enough juice for everybody. Anybody who's wants some, I got it. Whenever, I'm that quick. It's like, dude, you want to
Dad's
chirp?
well never runs dry.
Liquidity forever. It's never ending. Whatever you need, I got you. If you want to chirp, I have time for you. Just give me whatever. It's one at a time, of course. That's all it is, though. I mean, you can have a line out the door. One at a time. Bring them on. Absolutely. I got enough for everybody.
What if we started swim bait prize fights?
Oh my, I would pay. I would pay money for half of the people that are in my DMs. Swing first so I can put you in the hospital.
Just load up the
Fat
just
lards.
load
You
up the
lard,
cage.
inbred trailer lords. Please just swing first so I can put you in the hospital rent free. So I don't get in trouble. Just swing first. You're built like a stick. Oh my God. 1 pull up. That's why I say, just do 1 pull up for me. Oh my God. I wish. But everybody's a keyboard warrior because, I live in Kentucky. I live in Florida. Buddy, you're not doing anything. You're talking out the side of your neck right now and you got nothing on your resume.
Forget Ric Flair. We just need like the round bell at the UFC, just the ding, 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 ding.
You get Bruce Buffer in the middle.
Yep.
It's time. And then whoever wants to roll in. Absolutely. Anytime. But I feel like that is earlier in like.
Did you scratch the itch
When?
right now? Did you get it out? Did you get it all out?
It's eternal. This is
never ends.
forever,
Bro. It's the
This is-
hemorrhoid with no cure.
This is like, if you bark up my tree, this is forever, because I keep the receipts. And first of all, I haven't like smoked in like forever. So now I'm like completely sober, which is terrifying because I come prepared and I actually apply myself. You guys are done. Like, if I'm like not cheaping and I don't care, that like, if I was like just baked all the time, I'd be like, oh, whatever. But now that I'm like just like 100% on it, you don't want my attention. It's like the Eye of Sauron. Like, you don't want that shit on you. Like, you're just like, please don't see me. Like that. that is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. That is 100% real. And that's like, at least the homie, like my swim bait homies, that's known. This is a known thing. That's why I'm not in like half the groups, because everybody can come get some. That is like a lemonade stand in your neighborhood. Everyone's welcome. Come on down.
TJ just sitting there pouring
I'm sitting there
cups.
pouring forever. That pitcher, never ending. Whenever you need it, I'm here. I got time for you, and it will be done. And I haven't had after like the last it also helps when you follow any spat with, a frenzy master angler that they can't even hope of matching. So that kind of quiets the crowd a little bit. Yeah, it's been radio silence forever. I mean, Reed called me. He's like, hey, we got this homeless kid calling in. And I was like, yeah, that would make sense. It's in the name. Just some homeless, uneducated idiot who my sister would maul. Like, yeah, that would make sense. Cause Buddy has me blocked on every other social media page ever. Cause you don't want to chirp me face to face. Of course not. Cause you're going to lose. So you got to do everything else you can. But
I do not respect that when people actually start trying to taint people's reputations.
Oh, through every other thing, but
through every other
them.
Yes, exactly.
Accept them.
Like
yeah.
through the back door rather
yes,
than.
of course. But that's when their mom will try to get on Instagram and chirp you. And then you have like, pictures of that, and they have like grammatical errors because you're raised in a trailer. Yeah, there's that. So, I think they've really, I feel like
Of course not speaking from experience.
Definitely not. Definitely not. This is all a hypothetical situation. I feel like everyone's really learned what trees to bark up and what not at this point. It's been a couple years, and now it's just like, yeah, probably just shouldn't stir that pot. So it's been, dude, and it also helps when you're actually out there in the field doing stuff, in difficult situations where, that's only a livable, habitable area for 3 months out of the year. This isn't Florida where you can wake bait fish in December. This isn't California where it's warm and they're like, it gets down to 40. That's cute.
Congratulations.
You guys are really struggling out there. Like, I know gas is high, but you can fish year round. So cry me a river. Like, yeah, no, there's difficulty levels, and I feel like people have learned at this point, and this goes from age 50, probably higher, people with families and kids. It's like, buddy, go be a dad. Like, nobody's, yeah.
So switching gears now, like swim bait, DRT Frenzy, like one of the biggest ones on the market. Last time you were here, you were talking about DRT was coming out with the Pharaoh.
Oh my gosh, Reed, I can't believe you remember that. Yeah, that's actually Cloth bait. Very cool. Still not, well, if you're affiliated and if you tip kiss enough, you have one. That doesn't mean you have a fish on it, but if you tip kiss enough and you have the right connections, you have one. Of course, I don't have one yet. Not that I'm, not once the Frenzy came out and then everybody kind of bought one and was like, I got one in my hand, and realized like, this is hard. This is difficult. Anything but a Frenzy. I'll fish anything but that. Even the guys that made it, I got one fish on it, I'm done. Thank God that's over. Yeah, and I'm just like, another year, let's get her going. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Pharaoh looks sick, but like, I don't even know. Not that big. It's also like, same with soft baits versus hard baits. So a soft bait obviously collapses. So it becomes smaller once it is hit. Not hating on soft baits. Soft baits catch giants. They do. But there's a difficulty level associated with these things.
Right. When they collapse, you have more likely of getting a hook.
100%.
Yeah.
And, there's that's a whole other discussion. Do I want a Pharaoh? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would love to catch one. That's why Kobe was like, oh man, maybe you should come to Florida maybe for a weekend and, just catch an 8-pounder. And because everybody only cares about largemouth. So that's all they know how to handle is largemouth. This is the easiest. I mean, in terms of like actual difficulty to catch, other than a bluegill, largemouth got to be second. In terms of ease of catching, like the actual, just like to catch one. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
What I'm getting towards is like DRT Frenzy up to 18 inches, depending on what tailor we're running. do you see it ever going bigger for this level of fishing? Like, obviously you have deep sea, you're throwing massive, but like,
We're only freshwater. We're only
freshwater.
We're in Michigan, dog. We're in the mecca of freshwater fishing. We have
freshwater
like freshwater
fishing.
oceans.
Do you ever see
essentially.
anything coming out that's like 22 inches long?
Funny you should mention. So there is a gentleman on YouTube who I watch named Doug Wagner. Dude's an absolute stud, super hammer. I have no affiliation with this guy. I have messaged him. We have gone back and forth on Instagram. Just I'm seeking information from him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been super helpful. He pulled a 22-inch burbot out of a muskie that also ate his bait. Not only, and you're like, oh, okay. So not only is this all on film, this is a cast to catch. So he has him reeling, him setting the hook. There's a net. Oh, what's in this fish's mouth? Pulls out a half digested, it's like 21 or 22 inch. So this is nothing. This is like absolutely feasible. But people just, they don't experience things like that. So they don't understand what's possible. Everybody's like, oh, it's impossible. It's only impossible until you do it. You know what I mean? So it's like
everything seems unattainable until you make it happen.
Exactly. And that is such an abstract thought for the majority of people everywhere. But yeah,
it's because of TikTok.
What's that?
It's because of TikTok.
I'm not even on the tack.
There you go. That means your
know.
attention span's more than 8 seconds.
Shouts me. But I know
I came from a Vine generation, dude. It was 6 seconds.
Really?
If
Are you guys on the tag? TikTok?
No.
I call that my sister, my little sister. I don't want
China to know what I'm doing.
Yeah, the China virus, okay?
It's China virus.
Dude.
The real China virus is the tech.
Some of my boys, especially out in Colorado, my Colorado team, they're the best. They're big Trump guys. And honestly, I'm like a Trump content guy. So like when they do AI of
hilarious.
Untouchable. So funny. Literally the best stuff you can find. And I'm like not a political person. I'm like the government is out to get everyone, which they are. Hilarious. Bro. He is so fun. Or Shane Gillis. Have you seen his?
Yeah, Shane's impression of Trump
is so good. We killed him dead. We killed him.
Oh no,
you haven't seen what is it called?
Gillis
Something
and
dogs.
Jamie Foxx has the best Trump impressions.
Oh really?
Jamie Foxx's Trump impression is hilarious.
What's it called? Something dogs.
Oh,
on
he
Netflix?
died like a dog.
Yeah. Oh my god! And it's like he's like, imagine getting killed by a robot and a bunch of dogs. Beautiful dogs. He's like, he cried like a baby, and I was,
Abu, stop crying, Abu.
My God, stop, bro! I was screaming, and like I'm watching it in bed with Mandy, and I am like, tears are running down my face. He's so good.
Ferta boys.
He is Ferta.
But
he's Ferta.
So DRT. Maybe could come out with a 22-inch because it's possible, but
gotta keep in mind those are bass guys. So like I'm actually running some sharks hooks here, and I mean this fish actually like this is a problem. So you can like feel the marks on top of this. So I took Mandy for a walk, and I was like, well, of course I'm walking around the lake. I'm gonna bring my rod. Duh, not gonna like not. And last cast of the day, I'm like, I'm not even going to go to this location. Like, I never catch anything out of here, whatever. Upgraded my rod this year, Megabass hunting weapon. So 4 to 20 ounce, awesome rod. Like, couldn't push a rod harder than Megabass rod. So I run a King of Baccarat, which is like whatever, like 2 to 15 ounces. So I run that for the Ghost. And then I run the Megabass TS Destroyer hunting weapon for the Frenzy. Unreal, insane backbone. Couldn't push a rod more. So much fun. Just like they're obviously expensive. They're like at the more expensive, like $600 a rod. But like worth every penny. So sensitive, awesome backbone. Was running the 2-aught DRT Shark, which I do not condone which I learned the hard way, both in Canada and in the US for toothy fish, which how is metal bending on a fish's face? Make it make sense logically. Missed a giant. You can actually see, some of the teeth marks on this bait, and nobody really has a good one on Biwa trout yet, which is this pattern. That's what this is called. And they only make Biwa trout in the Frenzy. So they don't make it in a Ghost. There's no Biwa trout K9 or TK. It's just in the Frenzy. And I missed, you don't get a lot of bites. So when you do get a bite, it's like giant deer comes 20 yards broadside, wide open, no branches in the way. Got to make a play. And
Drop the arrow under
something. Who even knows what occurs? But you botch. End up getting a big bite. Set the hook. Feel tension, and then nothing. And I was like, my brother in Christ, what happened? And so I was obviously rattled, of course, because that's the only thing that actually gets under my skin is myself making an error of any sort, or like somehow something not going how I would think. And we get in the truck, and I look down, and the back hook, which I have switched, I'm now running BKK hooks, is, hooks look such as back hook is like this.
No
and I
way.
am just like immediately infuriated of like, you are joking. Like I usually catch nothing. Like I don't catch fish a lot anymore. I used to. Like if I posted every fish I caught, people's feelings would be hurt way more than they are now. But I don't post dinks. Like there are guys that will literally post every fish they catch. And I mean, it doesn't matter if it's 10 inches or 15. Every single fish.
Do you think people want the news instead of the highlight reel? Do you think people would care more if you started? Do you think they'd care more if you started posting more of the dinks as opposed to just the big ones?
I'm going to be completely honest with you right now. When you're setting the trends, I don't give two poops about what the motherfuckers are doing. Like unless you're actually fishing a frenzy and like producing, I have respect for you. There's a homie in Europe. I don't want to name his name because he affiliates with people that are mid AF, who also caught a frenzy pike, of course, 6 months after dad. But I respect him because he actually put it, supposedly, there's no cast to catch video. There's no on the board. There's no measurement. It's just a good fish. There's a picture of it and the bait is in its mouth. It's on the magic trout. Respect. Cool. We're cool. That's fine. I'm just trying to do stuff that people haven't done yet. So it's more of like, I've been focusing, obviously this is why this one has hooks and hook guards on it, because I've been fishing that versus that one was for show and tell. Obviously I've been fishing this Ugon Ghost. This color is pretty hard to find. That one I brought up to Canada, and I have cast to catch video on that as well. Just super fun stuff that, it's just the same as, bow hunting, you shoot something huge. Like, it's more valuable than money. You can't buy that feeling. You can't buy stuff that like when you're on your deathbed, you're like, oh, I feel like ass. Like, what am I thinking about right now? Oh yeah. This one time at band camp when I absolutely annihilated this giant fish in front of the boys and we're all cooked out of our minds in the boat having the best time. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. So hopefully this net, and literally, I mean, dude, Lake X, I got a picture today from the gentleman who owns the next door neighbor's house, who lives on the river mouth. Yep. Just the nicest guy. Will send me pictures, updates of where the ice is at. He's like, hey, my wife just had skin cancer treatment. We're going to be out of town. Would you mind taking our trash bins up when you go to fish the river mouth, or when you are on our, I can access that lake through their property. Beauty. The coolest people. And I get them $100. You know where Bodie's is at downtown?
Oh yeah.
Bodie's is like $90 steaks, $20 drinks there. So I always get both neighbors $100 gift cards every year to Bodie's, just as a token. Obviously they know I would do anything for them, of course, just because I can access, technically, if it's a river, you can get on there. It's public, river, if you're in the water, kick rocks, I can do whatever I want. But they're so kind enough to just, if I don't want to take the boat out, I'll just go walk. People are like, how are you always walking these spots? I'm like, dog, you can walk the river and catch megas. You just got to know what you're doing. Like at work at the Red Cedar, there are some spots on campus. Bro, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm going to be the first one to catch a giant out of the Red Cedar, because I'm sure it's been done before, but I'll tell you what, it's definitely the first frenzy that's been in that river. I'm about to go as soon as that water's low. I'm about to be like, whoa.
There's some spots along the river trail there heading up towards the dam.
So juicy.
You see guys in there trying to snag salmon every year.
And it's just like, that's fine. And like, I love the camaraderie when you're fishing and talking to the old heads because they're genuinely about having fun and learning and passing on their stories and whatnot. So hopefully, this year, last year was great, but I'd love to, have more goals this year, just like I'm assuming you probably saw some bucks this year that you were like, maybe next year we're going to have some.
Yep.
And I'm curious to see what you got going on back there, because the one you showed me that was literally after you ever shed hunt around here? You got anything? I found a deadhead, mega deadhead.
We try to. It's
Is there
shed
anything?
hunting. Shed hunting around here is wild because it's just you have all these little fingers that go between the suburban houses, so you never know where they're dropping. They could be dropping on someone's deck,
which is insane. That's insane. I'd love to get it, dude. Shed hunting like out west. That sounds so tight,
dude.
Like,
Can you imagine starting like a new thing of just like suburban shed hunting, where you're knocking on people's doors, just like, hey,
some shit.
I'm not here to hunt. Can I just walk your property and look for antlers?
That'd be fun.
You feel like people would be less opposed to that?
No, they'd still be opposed to it, because if that was me, I'd be like, get off my property.
Yeah, I feel like.
What are you doing here? Are you just going to go walk
anyways.
around and look for antlers? No.
That is true. I feel like that's
It's like asking to. I don't know. Yeah, people are always weird about you being on their property, no matter what. I feel like.
We've walked all these Meridian Township. I haven't walked other properties like really heavily, but we have walked this one down the tracks here a couple times pretty heavily. We found one, didn't we? It was right next to the train tracks.
Yeah.
I still have it in my office, but nothing sizable. It makes you wonder, like all these big bucks that we're
Where
seeing,
they're dropping them.
where the frick are they dropping antlers at? And I did a bunch of research as far as sheds go and stuff, and everyone seems to think that deer are way more likely to drop sheds close to their food source. So it makes me wonder if these bucks are dropping sheds over in the ag fields.
Food plots.
I tell you
fields.
what, I have seen antler sheds in tractor tires costing farmers thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I believe it.
We used to, when I was working for the ag company, we used to, like, guys be out in the fields grabbing sheds while they're, going along spreading fertilizer. Yeah. And they'd be like, yeah, almost lost $5,000 tire today.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the questions I wanted to cover before we wrap up for the is, what's something you learned in the last calendar year that changed the way you think?
If there's like any way to increase your patience, that's like the bigger the bait, the more you have to suffer. It's just like
I feel like you've reached a pinnacle of patience.
You would think, but then it's like, guys, my favorite guys that don't have frenzies will be like, you should do this. You should do this next. You should go for this. Like giving you plans for stuff that they have, no experience with. And it's like, you just got to have patience, because, you have to patience and understanding, maybe, because people have different goals. People have different goals than you, and they're doing it for different reasons, which is, I totally respect that. But as far as like, actual big bait fishing, real big bait fishing, it is like an elevated, you're like, when you go sit, you're like, even if you don't see anything, I'm thankful. I'll say this, being thankful for the experience.
Perspective.
Mm-hmm. It's a wider, more broad perspective on being thankful. Like, I go out and I'll either walk Lake X where Reed knows, or I'll, heaven forbid, go out on a Great Lake and not catch anything. Usually do. Of course, but like, as far as big bait stuff goes, I'm just thankful to be out there. I'm having fun.
That's
for
it.
myself. Like, even if you're, and I my boy Jers is gonna razz me for this. At some point in your career, especially if you're throwing mega baits, some people say that the fish are the bonus, which there is some truth to that. I'm just appreciative that, like, I have the opportunity and I've made correct plays in my life where I have the equipment to throw it. I'm doing this is like
You have the personality to connect to the right people. You like it's everything. It's it's perspective of just like
perspective.
I have air in my lungs. I'm able to walk.
Yes.
I'm not
But also at the same time, this is the same time because you're going out there with a purpose. There's this hockey camp in Canada that my boy Pat told me about. It's called Edge of Excellence. And I know every single time that I go out and I'm throwing a giant bait, I'm on the edge of excellence. That means you never know if you just put yourself in the right position enough times, you're throwing in the right areas, you're making like, people are like, oh, you're just casting shit to the breeze. It's like, there are so many variables that you take into account when you're going out there, whether it's moon phase or, all these different things, what the water's looking like, what the temperature is outside, what's the water temperature like. There's so many variables. If you just put yourself in the right position enough, as many times as you can, one of those times, you just got to be ready when that happens. So like when I'm in the gym, I'm doing like oblique stuff. I'm doing stuff like doing different pulls and stuff. So like I know when something eats, I'm ripping that thing's face off. Like those hooks are going in there. Like
bending out.
Or my God,
Too
or
soon.
failing, dude. Yeah,
I'm so scared. I just threw a first stone.
That stuff that stuff. But like to me, like when I took my girl out and I missed that fish, that hook failure that ruins a moment. Now it's a moment of I missed that. Instead of
what am I gonna do? To not have that happen?
And so I immediately went home and took them hooks right off and cursed them to everything else and bought different, more appropriate hooks and looked at myself, reflected and said, "What are you doing throwing essentially bass hooks for fish of a different caliber because you're not fishing for mid?" And yeah, so a lot of self-reflection, just being thankful that I'm out there and like actually, doing what I say I can do and talking like I deserve to do because you're putting in the time and the effort and actually seeing results on things that people that's abstract thought to them. So, and just pushing the game, like to the little kids that are out there, give them a bait. I've given so many kids like, you should throw this. I know it looks enormous and it's like, some 7-inch bait and they're like, oh, never catch anything on this. And then they see what you're throwing. They're like, oh, you can just see the greers in their brain. Like, what is that? And I'm like, listen, you see what I'm catching. I'd added some of the younger kids, like high school age kids on Snapchat. Cause that's how they do. And they'll send me stuff. Mm-hmm. Just, growing the game.
Yoda.
Yeah. There's that. I don't know if I'm Jedi level yet, but like, there's always
Sith Lord for sure.
100,000%. Yes. So there's more, there's more that you can give back in terms of people that are willing to accept that because it's not a competition. And of course, it's a competition to me, but I'm just winning. So it's fine. Like if it wasn't,
that's where you're in the position that you want to give back
100%. And I can see where other people don't see that way and don't like that. But like when I see the younger kids out there and they're throwing the stuff they bought at Dick's Sporting Goods, I'm like, listen, I'm going to tell you what I wish somebody told me when I was your age. Save your money, buy this bigger bait, put your time in on this thing. It's going to work out. I know I'm probably that loony older guy at the lake that they're like, this guy's a crackpot, like stay away from me. But some of those kids, I've given some bigger baits and at first they were like, this is crazy. And I had one specific kid who stuck with it and caught a mega. And I was just like, and I could just see the light go off in his brain. And he was like, thank you so much. And I mean, he's probably like a teenager.
I get it.
And I was like, if I had me when I was your age, bro, hear me. Like, I know I sound crazy, of course, but like that one instance makes it all worth it because, you try to do that for as many people as you can. And that one person that actually follows what you say and it works out, they're like, this kid's the truth. Like, that's real.
Just
like,
raising a militia of just new chirpers.
Yeah. Oh, dude. This kid
he goes, okay, now you got the fish. Here comes the fun part.
Now get online and hurt some feelings. No. No, this kid is actually
some
like,
souls.
yeah. No, this kid's way too
It's
nice.
the David Goggins of the swimbait community.
Who is gonna carry the frenzy? You are, little Jonathan. You, and he's like this little, like,
There's what,
built-
17 inches.
built like a stick. This little kid, and I'm just like, bro, just throw it. Get a bait caster.
He could probably do a pull up though.
Promise you could. I bet you could do more. Yeah, I bet you could do more pull ups than half the guys that are in my DMs right now. I tell you that right now. But yeah, no, it's about being thankful. It's about growing your patience level. And it's just about, I go out there and I'm not, everybody's like, oh, why do you fish? It's like, well, it ain't for fun. I mean, I like fishing, but like, I'm fishing to let you know that we're doing this. It's just like track. Like, I were in track in college, and it's just like, why track is beautiful is we all line up on the same line. We're all doing the same thing. And when I win, you're going to know that you tried your best, and I'm still better than you. And there's nothing that you could do about it, because we're all doing the exact same thing. We're all trying. That's what competition is. It's a competition thing that you feed off that. And I get people, don't do certain things for that reason, but I feel like that's where I got that attitude from. Track is super personal, dude. We're all, you're right next to somebody.
Right.
And you're all doing the same exact thing. So I try to pass on at least like as much positive knowledge to the younger kids of like, listen, you want to beat your boys? You want to just like, catch the biggest one? It's all just a pissing contest for fun. But then, then you get some single dad in your DM chirping you like it's serious. And it's like, buddy, go be a dad. Like,
I will say, it goes back to lack of perspective. We talked about this with Jesse Anderson when he was in this chair over here. I think there's so many people in that late millennial to late Gen X generation that are just, they didn't put the work in at an early age, and they're very, or they made mistakes, and they're just very upset about the trajectory of their life. And they see somebody doing something different at a younger age and being more successful in an area that they wish they were successful in. And so they have this mentality of, my time has passed, so the only thing I can do is attack.
Are you reading my mind? Are you taking words out of my mouth?
I think about like things that Gary Vee talks about, every once in a while. Like Gary, like the biggest thing Gary Vee has ever said is like, 40, you are so young. You're just getting started. Like, and I see so many people that they hit 35 or, that 35 to 40 age, and they're just like, my life is over. There's really nothing more I can do to build something. Dude, just like
perspective.
Yes. There's some guy out there who just picked something up at 60 years old, and he's hammering at it.
Is that not bow hunting though? Or bow hunting, fishing, stuff that takes effort and time. It's like
it creates discipline.
Yes, but it's that positive. It's that endless, that hopeless optimism, or like that that old like crappy Adidas saying like impossible is nothing. Like you have to have that like mindset. You're like, this is gonna happen for me. Like I'm gonna make this happen. Like I'm gonna sit in the stand 1 billion hours. I don't care what it takes. It's going to happen. And then it does. And then everything changes. Then you're like, what else can I do?
So many people don't understand that because they haven't experienced it. And when they do, they understand it.
Yes.
So I think that's the takeaway of everything. It's like, it's so easy to attack a certain demographic if you don't understand that feeling. If you don't have a master angler class on a 17-inch bait,
18 depending on the tail.
Yeah, 18 depending on the tail. you have no place to talk.
It's funny.
As you said in part 2 at 55 minutes and 45 seconds of episode 20 or whatever it was, you said, if you don't have big fish on big bait, I don't give a rat's ass.
And it's funny how all the other guys that have a frenzy fish, we all get imagine. The two other guys that I think of are European guys. And one of the guys I actually talked to, we bounce stuff off each other all the time. And it's a healthy, but like me and him, we definitely compete, but it's like, dude, I hope you do I hope you do well. Cause that we're mutually suffering, because it's like, this is hard. Like what we're doing is hard. And he pushes me, cause I'm like, oh, I see what this guy is doing. He may not live in my country, and I might be running my show here in North America, but like I want to make sure I'm still on top of this kid. You know what I mean? Like so there's a healthy, but it's always the kids that
It's healthy competition.
yes,
though.
it's always like the
yep.
nobodies that are like saying the most negative stuff, or the kids that like need the attention that will literally post anything for views that are like, oh, I'm going to take the time out of my day. It's like, buddy, get a job. Like, stop playing it.
I'm gonna quote Aaron Olson real quick with Next Step Outdoors. He posted something the other day that said, "People at the bottom compete, people at the top collaborate."
Yes.
And that's because when the people are at the top understand, they get it, they've all experienced it, they have perspective, and therefore they're going to keep hustling. The people at the bottom, it's just a rat race, and a lot of people that run out of gas, they're pissed about it.
That's just how, I'm sure that's how it is in the hunting industry and the fishing industry.
I would say any industry.
whether
it's freaking NASCAR, sports, golf,
football, yeah,
anything.
I probably need to do, and this is something that might be an abstract thought for some people, self-reflection. I definitely, as like a person, there's like not a lot of people that fish frenzies and have had success. But the thing is though, like if people want to like learn and have like genuine, like my boy Pat, like he saw me doing this. So he was like, I'm buying a frenzy. I'm buying a ghost. I'm going to do, I tell him I tell him everything. I tell him my configurations. I tell him why I do things. I tell him, and he will eventually, like he'll have the first frenzy lake trout. He'll probably have a bigger pike than me at one point just because his location, like alone. There can always be only one guy who did it first though. So shots gang. But like, I want that. I would love for more people to experience that just, after me.
I love it.
All right. So to wrap up, you have a megaphone that reaches everybody in the fishing community right now.
You don't want that. That's a bad idea.
What is the one message that you communicate to that community?
I can't say appropriate words.
Positive.
Oh, geez.
Positive and affirming. What's the one positive and affirming statement you will make on your megaphone?
Oh my God. That almost just makes me want to rip my skin off. Just even thinking about that.
The Jedi versus the Sith Lord.
Oh God.
Yeah,
I mean,
lightning's
there's
about to come out of his fingers.
the first message I would say is F your dreams. And that's the TJ speaking.
Is that to light a fire underneath them?
No, that's actually like, if you could, you would, into the ground. But if I was going to be really nice, and if I knew like my mom was listening,
yeah. So no, that's what I'm saying.
If Kels was listening,
giving people perspective.
If Kels was listening, I would say stay patient and be thankful.
There we go.
Stay patient, be thankful.
Perfect.
God, that hurts my soul to say.
It hurts your soul, but you did
makes
it.
me. You got to be.
Because sometimes it takes stuff like that to give people perspective.
It does, and honestly, I will say this: there is joy in catching it. But I will tell you one thing. I had more joy learning of that homie that I gave, the little kid that I gave the big bait, who like had that thing click in his mind. That's worth like 3 frenzy fish. I was like,
there you go.
His name's Jonathan. I was like, Jonathan, I'm so proud. Like, I'm so proud of you. Like, you were, oh, dude, dad. I was like,
your
dude,
license to be a dad.
Yeah, I was just like, dude, that's what it's all about. Like, if I had somebody, you'll just like anybody, like you have niece or nephews. Like I have a niece and a nephew. You always be that person that you wish you had. And I had everything, growing up. So thankful, super blessed. But like, you always want to be that person for someone that you wish you had when you were a kid, leading you down whatever direction it may be, and
giving them that perspective at a young age.
Yeah, when Buddy sent me that snap message and was like, "Look what I did," I was like, "This, this is what it's about." Yeah, so,
the gabagoo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, untapped potential there. So that's stay patient, be thankful.
I love it.
Go team.
Beautiful, guys. Let's go into the final segment and our favorite segment for the first person to go round 2 in What the Fart.
What the fart?
Did we do this before with you a year ago?
Oh, geez, that's. You know what? When I get home, I'm about to just
run it back, re-listen to it. Okay, so the first one.
There's rules.
Wait,
There's rules.
Wait.
There's rules.
Oh, yeah. I remember this.
You crack it open. The first one your eyes land on.
Yep.
That is, you have to sign your name by it, but
I
it's
will.
2.0. Read it for everybody.
Well, I don't think he signed his name by the first
Oh,
one. We just
Or
started.
maybe not.
Look at how long this is. Look
Just
how long this
read
is.
one.
Oh, I only have to read
Just
one.
Yeah, just one of them.
Whatever the first one is.
So I shouldn't read them all. Just the
No,
first one.
just whichever
yeah,
one
I'm
your
gonna
eyes
read,
see.
okay, the first one that caught my eye is the one
highlighted in orange.
highlighted in orange. It's called The Magic Mountain Fart. Oh, this is amazing. This is basically, this is me. A fart from the cheerleader on the top of a pyramid. Look at her. Look at her. She's just letting one rip. These guys are so hype. They're just probably looking up her skirt, smelling that shit. It's foul.
Sign your name.
That's the TJ Flagg fart. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in tonight. We really appreciate you. As always, we say we grow organically here on the show. So the only way we grow is if you listen, like it, and share it with somebody that you know. So if you learned something, even if you hated it, share the show. We really appreciate it. We are at AtassoOutfitters.com. That's our website, kind of, if you want to learn more about us, what we do, what our core values are. Those are all on the website, along with our fire merch shop that's got our hats, hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, anything you can imagine to help keep this bandwagon on the tracks. Our Instagram is atasso.outfitters. In the bio of our Instagram, there is a link tree, which will send you to every avenue that we've got there, whether it's YouTube, all Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of those avenues. And then just a reminder, as I do every episode, all of these are full length on YouTube now. So if you're the kind of person that likes to consume your podcast in a video format opposed to an audio format, go watch it. You're going to want to on this one so you can put a face to the chirp. Guys, we will catch you on the next episode. We've got Reed, Hunter, Caleb, and Mr. TJ Frenzy Flagg. See you guys soon.
I feel like one of these days I'm going to actually end What the Fart with a fart. I could do it now, but it just doesn't feel appropriate.
How much? Hey, you guys.
You'd have to move the mic southwards. I don't know if the mount's...
You got
I could.
what? How much? You guys got?
Not
you guys
gonna
got
do
hoodies.